PH 50 8657, MSRP 35960. Challenger PH 596 577, MSRP 36345. Ram PN 523262, MSRP 55755. Financing and deferred monthly to well-qualified buyers through Chrysler Capital or Stellantis Financial Services. Take retail delivery by 11/30/23. Includes all rebates and incentives. 695 PF. Excludes tax, title, and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 11/30/2023 with approved credit dealer stock only.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253 DF Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations.
It's time to get up and get your day started.
Morant. Oh! A jawbreaker!
It's Sports 56 Mornings with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. The first hour of Sports 56 Mornings is brought to you by East Memphis Ace Hardware at the corner of White Station and Quince. Now, here are your hosts, Greg and Eli.
They get up every morning from the long clocks, wanting to take the 8:15 into the city.
Good morning and welcome into Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli. No Greg or Eli today. Bryant Dacus in for him with Zach Boyd. As always, I hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving. Black Friday now, if anybody's out shopping. Do people do in-person shopping anymore on Black Friday, Zach?
I think so, but it's not as.
But it's not what it used to be.
Yeah, it's not as hype as it once was. So.
I was having that conversation with my family last night. We were all doing Thanksgiving or whatever, and like a commercial came on for Black Friday, and they were like, places don't like open up at midnight or like have like the long lines outside like they used to. It's like mostly online shopping, and I think like Target and like Best Buy, like places like that, I think they've been doing their Black Friday sale for like a week now.
Right.
And it's just, the week of Black Friday sale. So, if you're out and about, good for you. Getting some shopping done. Text us, call us, 901-360-8255. We're going to talk about a lot of things. I don't know about you, Zach, but today feels like a, I wanted to say it feels like a Monday, but it doesn't feel like a Monday. But it surely doesn't feel like a Friday. I don't know what it feels like. But I was like trying to figure out like what are we going to talk about? Obviously Tiger basketball. I mean, what a first two games of the Bahamas. Grizzlies. We got to talk Grizzlies. We got to talk Tiger football. And then I started looking. I was like, oh my gosh, we have a full slate of college football games tomorrow. And then the next day, Saturday, and we've got another full slate of college football games, and then obviously college basketball going around. So a lot to get to. We're going to be talking a little bit of everything. So hit us up, 901-360-8255 if you're up. But with Thanksgiving yesterday, that means it's officially the start of the Christmas season. Zach, I'm excited for Christmas. Who doesn't love Christmas? Are you a before Thanksgiving Christmas guy, or are you like a after Thanksgiving, that's when Christmas starts?
I'm more after Thanksgiving.
Interesting.
That's when Christmas starts.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I started November 1st. Way back.
I remember we had this discussion before.
Yeah.
Where you already watching the Hallmark Christmas movies and everything. So.
Yeah, I got my Elvis Christmas album playing. I've got, I'm drinking a peppermint mocha right now. I've been drinking peppermint everything. I mean, it's great. I mean, why only limit it to a month and a couple of days when you could have 2 months of Christmas? It's beautiful.
I mean, just let it bleed over into January.
Exactly. I mean, that's great. It's a great point, Zach. I mean, honestly, just go a month before and a month after. How about that? I think that's a good idea. Did you have a good Thanksgiving though?
Thanksgiving was good. I had to do a double dipper. So
okay. I like that.
There's a lot of food, man.
It's a lot of food. You have to pace yourself. That's what I've learned. You got to pace yourself. You can't eat too much at the beginning because it's a marathon, not a sprint. Of course. And I had to test myself yesterday with that, and I thought I did good. I did not feel sick until I got home, and my mom had bought the Christmas tree like little cake things. You know what I'm talking about? Like the little like Little Debbie Christmas cakes.
Yeah.
And I ate one of those when I got home after eating like everything all day. And after that, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna be sick. So that's what did it. If I hadn't ate the Little Debbie cake, I would have been fine.
Yeah, it was for me. It was easily just all right. One plate, we're good to go.
Hey, that's smart. That's smart. You're a better man than me, Zach. But the Tigers basketball team has been in action the last couple of days. They'll play again today, and because of what they've done, they're in the championship game of the battle for Atlantis down in the Bahamas. First game, a 71-67 win over Michigan. Yesterday, a thriller of a game against Arkansas, 20th ranked Arkansas, an 84-79 win. Zach, I really have been impressed with what I've seen from this Tiger basketball team to start the season. I mean, I know, say what you want about those first 3 games. Jackson State, I thought it was a nice win. You work out some things and kind of get past that, opening game, jitters, new team, everybody's brand new. Missouri, obviously going on the road. I think some people could say Missouri is a fraud after needing a 34-9 run to beat Minnesota and then losing to Jackson State. But I still think no matter who you're playing, if you go on the road in a sold-out environment that sits, I think what they say, about 15,000 in their arena. So, I mean, a lot of people. I think that's a huge win. And then Alabama State, I think, was a good warm-up game, especially a night where both Michigan and Arkansas lost that same night. You get the win. But what they've done against Michigan and Arkansas, I've been super impressed with, because I just don't think we've seen a Tiger basketball team, especially one under Penny Hardaway, that has gelled with so many new guys, I should say, that has gelled this fast. I mean, it seems like the past couple of years, you've had some good teams, and they've come together in conference play. They've gone on these 11-game win streaks, 11-2 to finish conference play, and then they're hot in the tournament or something like that. But it's always early in the season. Oh, well, you got to let them, they got to mesh together. They got to build that chemistry. They don't have it yet. They're going to lose a couple games early. And I'll be honest, we picked wins and losses on Sports Time a couple weeks ago, and I did not have them winning all these games. I had them losing to Missouri, and I had them beating Michigan but losing to Arkansas. And I don't think that was crazy or anything. I think that's just college basketball with a brand new team. So I've been really impressed with these first 2 games of this tournament. Playing Villanova today, I'm very excited for that game. But what have you thought, Zach, of this team under Penny Hardaway? And I should say, I didn't even point out, that game against Michigan 2 days ago was the first game that Penny Hardaway has coached this season because of that suspension that was handed down in the offseason.
Yeah, I think it's like what the guy said after the game. I think what David Jones said. They're experienced.
Yeah.
Even though they haven't played a lot of basketball together, they played enough basketball on the collegiate level where they know what to do.
Yeah.
And so when you have multiple guys that understand the game plan and understand what they need to do down the stretch to win, then you are getting these type of wins against these big time opponents. Now, they did. Now, if I'm not mistaken, Brian, they did have double-digit leads in both games.
They did. That is correct.
They had double-digit leads. That's the only negative I will say, because at times the offense did kind of sputtered out a little bit. But for the most part, when you needed a big shot, you got a big shot.
Yeah.
Even from Ashton Hardaway, you got a big shot.
Bahamas,
you got several
Ash.
big shots from him.
What a game from him against Michigan.
Oh, man.
That was unbelievable.
Like, he couldn't miss. He couldn't miss, man.
So I used to, obviously, when I was writing for Go Tigers 247, I would pay attention to a lot of high school basketball because, 247, you're, prospects type of, that sort of thing. But I don't watch a ton of high school basketball as much as I did, or keep up with it as much as I did. Kind of hard to watch a lot of these high school basketball teams, but you can see, how people are doing. You can check rankings, yada, yada, yada. I didn't do much of that last year when Ashton was at Sierra Canyon, but what I was always told is, obviously Bronny James is the star there, but Ashton Hardaway's not far behind. Ashton Hardaway's their leading scorer most nights. He's a good player. He could play at a lot of different places in the country. And I was always like, okay, that's awesome. And then he gets to Memphis, and I'm hearing Dave Woloshin, I'm hearing Greg Gaston, I'm hearing Jason Munns, I'm hearing all these people saying, oh, man, this guy's shot is the prettiest shot you'll ever see. I'm going, okay. But can he crack this lineup of all of these guys? And you're seeing J.J. Taylor, who at one point in high school was a 5-star recruit, Carl Scherenfant, who before the season everyone was talking about, oh, he brings a ton defensively and got a couple of minutes yesterday against Arkansas and looked really good defensively, but a good player that is going to play as a freshman. And both those guys were preseason American Athletic Freshman of the Year. And then Ashton comes along and he's playing early, but he's not making shots. It's early, playing in college, his first couple of games. But what he did in that game against Michigan, I've got the stat line pulled up right here. Let's see, where is he? Ashton Hardaway, 17 points, 2 rebounds, 1 block for the freshman, 6 for 9 from the field, and 5 for 7 from 3 in only 18 minutes of action. I mean, an incredible game. If you can start getting that, some sort of consistency out of Ashton Hardaway, you're feeling really, really good. He didn't play as much yesterday against Arkansas. I mean, that was just a game of heavyweights and a back and forth game. So I wasn't super shocked that he didn't play a ton yesterday, but I mean, I loved what I saw from Ashton against Michigan a couple days ago.
Yeah, and I think you kind of saw it as well. Like you could get away with playing with Ashton against Michigan because they are not as heavy on the perimeter as far as with their bigs. Now with Arkansas, it's a different beast. Yeah, because then you got Brazil, and then you got Lawson, and then there's another kid that's pretty tall. So it's like last thing you want to do is get Ashton get pushed around and get bullied by those bigs. So. Yeah.
Well, in Trayvon Brazil, he got injured last year for Arkansas after a really good start to the season. And yesterday I found myself a couple of times being like, who is this long guy? I mean, like, this guy is huge. Yeah, who is he? And then I'd be like, oh, that's Trayvon Brazil. He played really well yesterday. And a huge win for Memphis over Arkansas. And you're right, double-digit leads in both of those games. And both of them, a little too close for comfort towards the end. I was with family for both of those games, and everyone around me was like, oh, no. I've seen this play out before. I know how this story ends. Memphis is going to lose. They're going to the free throw line. They're like, oh, Memphis and free throws do not go well together. And I was like, okay, well, let's all calm down. We're good. But that Arkansas game yesterday shows why Memphis and Arkansas need a home-and-home series. I mean, that game was awesome, and it was being played in the Bahamas. I mean, imagine if that game was being played at FedEx Forum in November or December. I mean, imagine if because of how these schedules have lined up, I haven't been able to see a ton of Arkansas games this season, but I watched that charity exhibition before the season started against Purdue, and for an exhibition game on a Saturday when college football was being played, I don't know what time Arkansas played on that day, but it was a sold-out crowd for Arkansas basketball versus Purdue, and that place was electric. And I should mention, even though it was an exhibition, Arkansas beat Purdue in that exhibition game. So, I mean, there's no question that these two teams should have a home and home. I think Penny Hardaway sees it. He's, from what I've heard, he's been trying to get some sort of home and home for the past couple of seasons. We got the reports last year that he was trying to make it happen, and it just hasn't. I think we're starting to see more coaches being willing to do home and homes. I mean, for so long there, it seemed like we were in like a 10-year slump of just coaches wanting to play on neutral sites for big games. And I think we're starting to get out of that. But even if you had something like you had with Tennessee, where it's a home, and then somewhere neutral site. I don't know where you would play neutral site between Memphis and Arkansas, where, you'd have fans from both sides coming. But, if that's something that you had to do to make it work, I'd be all for it. That game was too good yesterday. Both of these coaches are too good to not have a home and home in the close proximity of these two schools.
Yeah, no, and it makes sense. And I think one person said that they would love to do like a home and home, and then a game in Little Rock or something.
That'd be cool. I'd be fine with that. I'd be fine with anything. I mean, I think you could do a bunch of things, and I would be happy just to see those two teams play on a regular basis. Ron texted us in this morning. He said, I wanted Memphis to play North Carolina, but Villanova will do.
I mean, yeah.
I can't lie. I was feeling the same way. I mean, and it's not because of what team's better or what. It's the brand. I mean, North Carolina is one of the biggest brands in college basketball. Being able to play Michigan and then Arkansas and then North Carolina would have been unbelievable. But Villanova's a really good team, and they showed it yesterday going into overtime, beating North Carolina. They've got some really good players on their team. And so it's going to be a really good game, and Villanova's not a small brand either. I mean, that's a massive brand in college basketball as well. So, already I think a successful weekend for the Tigers. Not just go out, this afternoon and win the whole thing, come back 3-0 undefeated, and Monday at noon, what type of number is beside the Tigers?
Like in the top 25?
Mm-hmm.
Well, in the coaches poll, they have them.
They're 23rd.
23.
But outside in the AP, so you go win in the Bahamas against a ranked team, a good Michigan team, and a really good Villanova team that I think was in the top 25 before they lost to Penn a couple weeks ago.
Right. I think you can
top 15?
You can put the Tigers where Arkansas is. To be honest,
at 20.
At 20,
I'd be fine with them.
Maybe even further up in that.
I think it could be further up than that, but I think top 20 is certainly in play.
And that's the thing too. It's kind of hard to judge where their heads are because again, like the team spent 2 weeks not being in the top 25 when everybody knows that they are a top 25 team. Mm-hmm. So 20, I think 20 is I think that's where they might put them.
Yeah, I mean
on Monday.
I mean. This is not when you're talking about tournaments, and I watched a lot of college basketball the last couple of days. The preseason NIT tip-off tournament has been pretty good. I mean, you got Florida, Pitt, Baylor, Oregon State. Outside of Maui, the ESPN Events Invitational has been pretty good. I mean, you got Texas A&M, Florida Atlantic, Butler, Loyola Chicago. I think Loyola Chicago's in that one. Penn State's in there. So, I mean, some good teams. But outside of Maui, I mean, the Battle for Atlantis Field might be the toughest of any of these Feast Week tournaments. So, I mean, you go and you win that whole thing. You go 3-0 with wins over Arkansas and Villanova. I mean, I think Monday morning you're feeling pretty good going into the AP poll. But, Zach, one person we have not talked about. You've mentioned his name, but we have not talked about what he did yesterday, and that is David Jones.
Whew.
What a performance. I mean, that was incredible. And I heard, who was it that I heard? I think it might have been Dave a couple weeks ago. I think he said it on his show, and then after his show, me and him were talking about it. He said, I think it's very unlikely that you get a day where both David Jones and Jaquan Walton are both off. And I think he's right. I mean, I think both of those guys have shown that any day they can play at a very high level. But I think this team can benefit from, you've got guys all over the place.
It doesn't matter which one.
I mean, David Jones, 36 yesterday. We've seen Jaquan Walton go off. What was it, the first game of the season against Jackson State where he scored 11 of the first 12. Javon Quinterly has shown that he can take over a game.
That was Missouri.
Caleb Mills ended Olivier Nkamwa's career against Michigan. I mean, put him in the ground. And then Ashton Hardaway. I mean, we just talked about Ashton in the game he had on Michigan. Even a freshman can step up and give you 17 points. When need be. So, I mean, this team is very talented offensively, very, very good, and I think defense is coming along. I think what you saw against Missouri, I think these end-of-game stops that they're getting, Michigan made it really close, but they were able to get some stops late in that game. I think same thing with Arkansas. They tried to, give them a fight late in that game yesterday, and Memphis was able to win it. So, I really like this team. I think I'm always pessimistic by nature before the season starts just because there's so much unknown, and especially a team that is returning 2 players from last season. It's just hard to tell how good they'll be. And I was wrong about this team. I was way down on it. Now, that could change. I mean, this team could trip up along the way, but This team has been mighty impressive to start the season.
Oh yeah. I mean, I think over time, like again, like all of this, all the little stuff, like the end of game execution, like they pulled it out twice.
Yeah.
But I think over time, as this season kind of progressed, they will kind of figure it out, break a press.
Oh yeah.
You know, I know they caught the Tigers in a little situation in the corner, then. God, the back-to-back reviews off of every single play.
Oh, man.
So, I think over time it will, they will figure it out. They will, have some press beaters or whatever, and secure a much easier win than what they had to do in the last couple of days. But regardless, 2 great wins.
Incredible
So far.
Man,
great wins.
It's been really fun to watch. Shout out to the 904, by the way. They're partying in the 904. Did you hear that after the game?
Yeah, I did.
Night?
I'm like, bro,
it was very awkward.
No,
it was very weird because the way I don't remember who was on play-by-play last night for that game, but he was like, and now Memphis can go celebrate with all the fans, and then he pauses for a really long time from the 904. I was like, the 904. I think it's Jacksonville, Florida, or something like that. It's certainly not Memphis. That'd be the 901. But no, regardless, 2 great wins for the Tigers. Still playing undefeated basketball. Has been really, really impressive to watch. I think getting Penny Hardaway back on the sidelines is huge. Just that, just having your head coach there, I think helps. I think I was telling a lot of people this when Rick Stansberry was there. It's a pretty good feeling when you can look to, the bench when you've been handed down a suspension and say, hey, Rick Stansberry, with all of this head coaching experience at, high levels of college basketball, you're up. You take over.
Yeah.
That's not bad. It could be worse. And so, for the Tigers to be able to play that well under your assistant coach and then to have Penny Hardaway come back, I think very, very, very impressive. Now they'll play Villanova today, who, like I said, they beat North Carolina in overtime yesterday. The only loss Villanova's had this year came against Penn. Of the Ivy League stand-up. But that game was played in the Palestra, Zach, and the cathedral of college basketball. You don't just walk into the Palestra, Zach, and just expect a win. So shame on Villanova for thinking that. This is a really good team.
Yeah, playing basketball with a bunch of lawyers and future doctors.
Yeah, I mean, what a feeling that's got to be. I mean,
and archbishops.
Yes,
and doll size.
Yeah,
wherever
you say lawyers. Yeah, doctors. Smart people.
Yeah.
Way smarter than I.
All the religious, super religious.
That's right. Yes, that would be the University of Pennsylvania.
Because they claim they have God on their side.
That's right.
No, I'm just playing.
Brains and God.
I want to play a quick game with you real quick.
Oh, I love games. All right, give me a game.
So the guy mentions 904.
That's right.
What state is in? Without looking up.
Florida, right?
He said Florida?
Uh-huh.
It is in Florida.
Okay.
What city?
There's
a lot of great cities in Florida.
And I've heard of the 904 before. I know it's not Miami. I don't think. Is it Miami?
No.
Orlando?
No.
Okay. Jacksonville, Florida.
It is Jacksonville,
Is it Jacksonville, Florida? Okay, I thought so. I guess I didn't think so because it was my third guess. But I feel like I saw some. I feel like I cheated because I think I saw somebody on Twitter quote tweet. Someone posted the video, and I think someone quote tweeted and was like, Jacksonville, Florida, stand up. And so, good for Jacksonville, I guess. I hope there was somebody from Jacksonville watching that game last night, maybe trying to watch the Egg Bowl or something and sitting there watching and being like, oh, 904, that's us. What did we do? Good for us.
Shout out to Duval, baby.
Yeah,
it was funny that you mentioned that because it sounded like he was trying to read it, but because it wasn't coming through as super clear.
It was weird. It was almost like, because especially on ESPN broadcasts, they've all got these headsets on, and they've got producers in their ears talking to them. Hey, we got to get out. 5 seconds till break. Yada yada yada. It was almost like somebody was in his ear at the end of the game and was like, they're really big on their area code 901, so you need to shout out 901. And then he was like, okay, everybody, they can go celebrate with everybody, and then he forgot what it was, and they were like 901, 901, 901, and he was like, in the 904. We gotta find it. We're gonna find the sound and play it at some point today because it was hilarious. And I'm not making fun of him. I just thought it was funny. But the Tigers win. We'll talk more Tigers. We'll talk a lot of Tigers today. I haven't mentioned who we're going to have on the show today. We need to get to a break here because John Varlas, the preps writer for the Daily Memphian, he's going to join us. A big day today for preps football here locally. We've got 3 teams in the state semifinals from this area. Houston in 6A, they've got Brentwood tonight. In 5A, Southwind has Franklin Page. And then in 2A, Fairleigh has Decatur County Riverside. So we'll talk about all of those games with John Varlas. Also, we've got 4 local players named finalists for Mr. Football. And some of them, I was looking at their stats last night. It's really impressive what they've done this year. So we'll talk about that. We might talk some basketball, preps basketball with John Varlas as well. He'll be with us through the rest of the hour. At 8 o'clock, Brett Norsworthy, my co-host on Sports Time in the afternoons from 3 to 6. But he's also pre- and post-game for Ole Miss football. He's going to join us to talk about the Rebels' win last night against Mississippi State, what that means for their bowl game, and we'll talk some other SEC with Brett at 8 o'clock. And then at 9:30, Greg Gaston, the host of this show, he's going to join us. He's on the Tiger sidelines for every football game. He's also does ESPN Plus for the Tiger basketball game. So he's going to join us at 9:30. Tigers Temple today at 11 o'clock. So we'll get a little bit of a preview for that game, talk about what this game would mean for the Tigers as they face off Temple. And really, this day lays out really nicely for Memphis fans. You've got Memphis versus Temple at 11 a.m.
Yeah.
Right when that game ends. And I think it's on the same channel. I think both these games are on ESPN.
Yes.
Right after the football game, it's going to go straight to Memphis basketball versus Villanova. So
the PR team for the Tigers is just through the roof.
They're salivating right now. I mean, that is perfect. In terms of just people flipping on television, both your football and basketball team being back-to-back on ESPN, I mean, it couldn't get any better. I mean, that's a Thanksgiving miracle. But let's go ahead and get to a break. When we come back, like I said, John Varlas, he's going to join us to talk about some preps football. We'll do that next on Sports 56 Mornings.
We are real sports talk. Sports 56 WHBQ. Available on your radio dial at 560 AM and 98.5 FM, as well as around the world online at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere by downloading the Sports 56 app. And at home, just say, Alexa, play Sports 56. Wherever you are, stay tuned in to real sports talk. Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
You or someone you know or care about has dealt with a difficult divorce. When facing divorce, you need the attorneys at Rice Law. Nick and Larry Rice lead the firm with 3 generations and 7 decades of experience. Located in Memphis, serving the entire state of Tennessee and North Mississippi. Rice Law is who you need to call. Simple or difficult divorce, they know how to handle it. Call Rice Law at 901-526-6701, or for more information, visit them at aboutdivorce.com. That's aboutdivorce.com.
When you think about insurance and you want great value without sacrificing great service, I want you to think one place: the Eflin Insurance and the entire Eflin Insurance team. Matt and his group of professionals will access 10 leading companies to find the right home and auto program that fits your budget and your absolute needs. The Eflin Insurance team, the number 386-GER, 386-4777.
Hi, folks. The Chevy Sheriff with good news for car and truck buyers. The Sunrise Chevy Ranch has new Chevy cars and trucks in stock, ready for immediate delivery. Factory rebates up to $1,000 and Sunrise discounts high as $4,000. Immediate financing available with interest rates low as 2.9. A $15 million used car inventory with cars and trucks for every budget, and a lot specializing in cars and trucks under $15,000. If you've been turned down by another dealer, see us at Sunrise. We specialize in financing, and Sunrise is the home of the guaranteed credit approval. Find new roads to the Sunrise Chevy Ranch, 385 in Houston, Levy, and Collierville.
Roofs, roofs, and more roofs. Chris Price here with Metro Builders. Is your roof leaking? Do you have mold stains on the ceiling of your home or business? Is your carrier denying your claim or offering a repair simply because they don't have enough documentation? You need a contractor that performs work for insurance claims for policyholders each and every day, and Metro Builders is here to assist. Call Metro Builders. At Metro Builders, we provide free estimates, consultation, and claim repairs. Metro Builders' process of arriving, inspecting, diagnosing problems, and estimating is second to none, commercial and residential. Our team of Hague-certified technicians are standing by to assist you with providing estimates and photos to your carrier to document your loss. All you owe is what your policy states. No large fees on top of the final scope. We use high-grade materials and are certified by companies like Atlas, CertainTeed, Owens Corning, and Mulehide with labor warranties up to 50 years on all of our jobs. Metro Builders provides roof repairs across the Mid-South. Call Metro Builders to schedule your inspection free. Call me. 901-375-1717. That's 901-375-1717.
Listen each and every Sunday morning at 10 a.m. and join Ottawild Presbyterian Church for worship. Ottawild is a PCUSA church located in Midtown Memphis.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good morning. It looks good right now as we check it out live. I-40 going eastbound, coming over from West Memphis across the bridge. It's been quiet out here as far as accidents. TDOT and those help trucks around here with a couple of stalled vehicles. Looks good right now on Sam Cooper, right when you come off the interstate, coming inbound on Sam Cooper. Hey, Weimer's Jewelry at 7525 Highway 64. They're open today. Go by and see them. They are your full-service, family-owned jewelry store here in Memphis. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Now, back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by East Memphis Ace Hardware at the corner of White Station and Quince. Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Welcome back into Sports 56 Mornings. Bryant Dacus and Zach Boyd in for Greg and Eli. They're both off on this Black Friday, and it's now time to talk to John Varlas.
It's time for Greg and Eli's weekly visit with John Varlas of the Daily Memphian. Check out John's prep sports coverage and more at dailymemphian.com. Now, here's John Varlas with Greg and Eli.
The preps writer at the Daily Memphian. A big day, John. We've got 3 teams here locally playing in the state semifinals. I'm really excited about one of them because it's where I went to high school. Houston High at Brentwood tonight.
Well, and good morning to you, Brian.
Yeah, good morning.
And we got Zach in there, who's a Southwind Jaguar. So
That's right.
We've got 2 of the 3 semifinalists covered. We just needed to bring a fairly bulldog in here, and we have it all covered. Good morning, Zach.
Good morning, John.
How does it feel to be a fan of the only undefeated team left in the 5A playoffs?
Hey, man, that means that we're special. We're in an elite group.
Very
and
much.
let's just carry ourselves as such, man.
Undefeated. That's almost as elite as it can go. I mean,
this is the first time in school history, so.
Oh, by far.
Easily by far.
That's incredible.
Because I remember times like when I was in school where we had like our offense was good, defense was bad. Defense was good, offense was bad. So we never had a chance to put it all together and actually make the playoffs consistently. But I'm happy for everyone, man.
Yeah.
I am.
No. Well, before, John, we get into any of these games, did you have a good Thanksgiving yesterday?
I had a great Thanksgiving. Good. Thanks for asking. Yeah, I spent time with my wife and just had a quiet day with her, which is what we both kind of wanted. But nice. But Eli always gets on to me because I don't like turkey, and I had a giant steak instead. I really enjoyed that, man. But to me,
how I want to do my Thanksgiving. I mean, steak is no better.
No, steak. Yeah, I mean, to me, if turkey is so awesome, why don't people eat it throughout the year?
Well, that's my thing. I never eat I don't eat turkey sandwiches or anything, but I'll eat turkey on Thanksgiving.
Sure, but I mean, why don't you just eat turkey on a random March Sunday dinner with your family?
That's a really good point.
Because nobody likes it, but everybody will always. But they'll throw steaks on the grill at the first chance they get.
That's a good point.
But I go back and forth with Eli about this. He's very, very particular in his meats, apparently.
Yeah. Seems like it. No, that's hilarious. Yeah, I was at one place yesterday and they had both turkey and ham, and it was the first time I had seen they had both.
Yeah,
and I was like, I thought it was one or the other.
No, nothing wrong with a good ham. My wife made a delicious pecan pie. I don't know if you're a pecan pie advocate, but it was really super good. And no, I had a great game. Went to bed early. Just looking on the TV here, I didn't even know the Cowboys had beaten the Commanders so handandly.
Yeah, I mean, the Cowboys are back. Ain't that right, Zach? I mean, they're back. They never left.
Cowboys are so back.
Three straight winning seasons. And count that as being back.
Hey, I'm just saying, Super Bowl or bust, right?
Hey, no, now we're getting a little too ahead of ourselves.
No, it was a great day yesterday.
Yeah.
Got to bed early and ready for a long day of high school football.
Yeah.
Hopefully it'll be a good one.
Hopefully it will be a good one. Well, let's start with Houston. I've seen them play once this year. I've not been to a lot of Houston games, but Brentwood today, Houston with an 11-2 record. What has been kind of the story of this Houston team this year that has been able to get them this far into the playoffs?
Well, I think the story has been really just the fact, Bryant, that they're such a complete overall team. I mean, the offense obviously for Houston gets a lot of the headlines and a lot of the credit. And, offense, that's kind of the sexy part of the football team.
Yeah.
You see a team putting up, 35, 40 points a game. But, really their defense is like so underrated and so underratedly good. I mean, in the 3 playoff games, they shut out their first opponent. They held Collierville to 7 points in the second round. And then last week against a really good Germantown team, they held them to 10 points.
Wow.
So when you can do that, you're certainly giving your offense a chance to do things. And Houston's got a really great offense. Their play calling, for my money, is the most creative in the city. It's the most diversified. I mean, they can do so many different things, and they're kind of really creative the way they get after it with their offensive coordinator, Coach Ronnie Thompson. He's really, really good, really smart, and really, really knows his football when it comes to calling plays. So, I mean, they just got so many weapons. They're really well coached, and like it was said to me, and somebody made a really great point, when you've got really, really great athletes and they're really well coached, well, this is what you get, a team that's 11-2, a team that's won 10 games in a row. They haven't lost since September 1st, and they're rolling into the semifinals now against a tough Brentwood team.
Yeah, well, and this team, it really, to me, seems like I've kind of seen these offensive weapons, at least, kind of grow in that system. And I remember when Chandler Day was a freshman and was playing and very raw, and he's really kind of come into his own as he's gotten older. Damon Sissa, who kind of had the breakout season last year. And then Sean Jones, who's really had a really good season this year. And his father was my receivers coach at Houston. So, I mean, really good offensive weapons. But what have you seen from Coach Thomas? He was my defensive coordinator at Houston. He takes over, I think the year after I graduated was his first season as a head coach. What have you seen him as kind of development into a head coach from a D coordinator, and kind of getting this program back to kind of where they are now, playing in the state semifinals?
No, I think I like Coach Thomas a lot. I think he's a really good football man, and he's getting the best out of those guys this year. I mean, you mentioned the growth of some of these younger players, and you're exactly right. I mean, Chandler, they run a fairly complex offense, and I think they can do a lot of the things they can do because of Chandler Day. He's the son of a coach, so he's kind of come up in that, and that always helps. But he's a really smart kid, and in addition to being a good football player, he allows them to do a lot of the things that they're able to do. Damon Sissa, tremendous speed. I mean, I think his speed in particular tonight can be a real asset against Brentwood Academy. The way Brentwood Academy was described to me is they're kind of like MUS. They don't want they play assignment football. They're not going to do much to beat themselves. They're extremely well coached. But when you talk about maybe an athleticism edge at certain positions, I think Houston might have that. And then you mentioned Sean Jones, who was remarkably good last week, and he's missed, Brian, a large part of the season. And I can't remember if he said, and I always get them mixed up, I can't remember if he said it was the tibia or the fibula, but one of those he broke, and he's
both
only
are bad.
both bad, broken leg.
That's right.
And he's only just now recovering. But man, he was outstanding last week. And you talk about a receiver that's like 6'2". I mean, he's taller than I am, so he's got great size, great speed, great hands. I mean, he made a tremendous catch last week against Germantown in double coverage that everybody I was sitting with, they just like, whoa, how did he catch? It was just like one of those kind of catches. And the great player. I mean, they got other guys too, Andre Allen, and the guys on the defense I mentioned. It's just a really, really good, complete team, and I've got a lot of optimism for them to go up against Brentwood Academy. And one thing too, I haven't mentioned, they've played probably a tougher schedule than Brentwood Academy has. They've played Collierville twice, they've played Germantown twice, they've played Bartlett, they played Whitehaven. Outside of conference, they played Tupelo from Mississippi, really good team. They played South Panola, so they've seen pretty much everything you can see this year. So I really like this team, and I think they got a great chance.
Yeah, I'm excited for this one tonight. For Zach's Southwind Jaguars, I don't know much about this team this year. I know Kavion Benton, who committed to the University of Memphis a couple weeks ago, kind of headlines that defense, but I was kind of surprised because I've played at Henry County before, and I know how raucous that environment can be. I can only imagine for a playoff game, but they were able to win that game last week, and like you mentioned earlier, undefeated Southwind team. What's kind of what has gotten them to this point?
Well, that Henry County win, Bryant, I mean, to me, that just speaks volumes because of every reason you said. I mean, I was kind of joking with the guys here last week and said Henry County is where title hopes go to die if you're a Memphis team. And it's true. I mean, you've played there. I mean, there's been some really good teams in the past from Memphis that have gone to Henry County and just lost. It's just such a tough environment. Psychologically, you're a touchdown behind before the game even starts. And then once the game gets going, it's like you say, it's rowdy, it's raucous. Weird things sometimes happen with the officiating.
Yes, they do.
So to go to a place like Henry County for a team like Southwind that's never been in this position before, it just speaks volumes. And you mentioned Kavion Benton on that defense, he's been terrific. Antoine Kiefer at linebacker. I mean, I really wish Memphis would seriously get involved with him too, because I think he's tremendous and he's the kind of player that could go to a college and stay there 4 years and grow and develop and really turn into something special. So I like Benton. I like Kiefer. They have another young defensive lineman named Charles Sullins who's been excellent. But offensively, it's Kelvin Perkins. He's a Mr. Football finalist. He's probably around 45 touchdown passes at this point in the season and, 10 or 12 touchdown runs. So he's just been incredible. And to be a sophomore, just the poise that he has, all the throws he can make all the throws you need him to make. He's got some great receivers to work with, and they've got tremendous speed on the edge, on the outside with the receiver core. And what I really like about the way they spread the love too. It's not just one receiver. Right. So they got 4 or 5 guys out there that can make plays, and they have all made plays this year. And that's why they're 13-0. They're playing a Page team that's really tough. Again, I think, like Houston, I think Southwind's going to have the athleticism edge, and they're going to have all the confidence in the world because of what they did last week, and even the week before that at home they played Beach, a perennially good program. They beat them at home, then they go on the road to Henry County. So, I mean, they're rolling, and I really, really high on this team, and man, I hope they got one more in them. I really do, because it would be so much fun to see a program like Southwind make it to state.
Absolutely.
I mean, good group of guys over there, really talented football players, and to have the city of Memphis represented in Chattanooga, with Southwind would really be cool.
Yeah, that would be a lot of fun. The last team in action tonight, Fairleigh, the Bulldogs. They're 10-2 this season, and this blew me away. You had a story in the Daily Memphian kind of previewing all these games, talking about all these teams. They've only allowed 70 points total this season, and those came in 2 games against a really good North Point team and a really good Covington team. Other than that, it's been all zeros on the scoreboard.
All
for
zeros.
opponents.
So they've won 10 games and they've posted 10.
That's incredible.
10 shutouts. Yeah, weird things happen in high school football sometimes. But no, this is a really good Fairleigh football team. Relative to its competition. The problem I have with them is, unlike Houston, the region they play playing is not quite as tough as the opposite region. So this game they have tonight against Decatur County Riverside over there in Decatur County, which I'm not even sure where it is, but it's around here somewhere generally. Yeah. So it's going to be tough for Fairleigh because I think the opposite region is tougher. Sure. I think Riverside is probably the more tested team, but Fairleigh's very talented, man. I mean, they've got a kid named Jaquan Davis who was All-State last year. He was a Mr. Football finalist last year. He didn't make it this year. I mean, last year he intercepted 14 passes and was just incredible. And, so everything's going to be a little bit of a drop-off from that. But, I mean, he's a really good player. Malik Mason is a really talented running back. He was at Germantown last year, transferred into Fairleigh. Kid on the defensive line named Delandis Dandridge, who's a junior, who's been really impressive. He's a sack machine. He had 6 in one game this year against Mitchell. So they've got some dudes, and like Southwind, they're really well coached. I'm a little bit leery of the competition level, and having to travel is hard. It's going to be hard for all these teams locally that have to travel. So going to Riverside is going to be a tough, challenging environment. And man, it would be cool to see Fairleigh get it done. But Riverside's a tough team. Riverside played Collierville in the first game of the season and gave Collierville a really good battle. And that's a 2A school against a 6A school. So it shows you what Riverside's bringing to the table. And their quarterback is a Mr. Football finalist, so they've got a good offense, obviously, and it's going to be tough. But Coach Copeland is a good coach. They got a good staff over there at Fairleigh. They've done some tremendous things, and it would really be cool to see them extend it one more game too and make it to state. It would be the first time in their history to make it. If they do, it would be the first time in Southwind's history. And Houston's never made it to state in football. So all these 3 teams playing for a little bit of school history tonight.
Yeah, it could be a great night for all 3 of these schools. Before we get to a break, I do want to ask you, you've mentioned Mr. Football a couple of times. 4 finalists from this area. I was looking at a couple of these guys. Again, you wrote about these guys at the Daily Memphian. And the first guy jumped out to me, Redarius Jackson from Sheffield. He has 682 yards and 13 touchdowns on 30 receptions, 629 yards and 8 touchdowns on 51 carries. He's thrown 7 touchdown passes, and he's recorded 8 interceptions, including 3 pick sixes. I mean, this guy does everything.
How about that? And they had a good team too. They finished 8-2 and won the region, and it's a regular season award. Jackson's incredible. He's Brian. I heard you talking about recruiting earlier. He's got offers from Mississippi State. Wow. He's got an Oregon offer. Wow. He's got a Colorado offer.
Wow. Good reason. I mean, you look at these stats.
He's got a Vanderbilt offer. Yeah. He's a good student as well. That's the kind of level kid he is, and he's just a junior. He runs track as well, so he's got good speed. He's playing basketball right now, so obviously a tremendous athlete. But no, Redarius Jackson's really, really good, 6'3". So when you get him in a college weight program and put a little bulk on him, I mean, you've got a potential weapon out there playing wide receiver or really anything, as you can see by his stats. But no, he's one of the finalists in Class 3A, along with Skyland Smith from Covington, who had a tremendous year. We mentioned Kelvin Perkins in 5A, and Brian Shields, a kid at FACS who I've been high on since the season started. He had just an incredible season. He averaged almost 17 yards every time he touched the ball when you combine rushing, receiving, and kickoff returns. Wow. And he recently got a PWO offer from Memphis.
That's awesome.
And I know that that was something he was really hoping to get was a PWO from a quote unquote big school.
Right.
And Memphis came in and offered, so maybe they'll make that happen. He's a tremendous talent, really fast, and I don't want to compare him to Calvin Austin, but Memphis has had good success with walk-ons in the past, and he's got the same profile of a fast kid from a small private school, and a little bit overlooked, and maybe he can go there and do something special if it works out.
Maybe a name to keep an eye on. We know kind of in past the walk-ons have had success. Now Kobe Drake, who was a walk-on for Memphis, is now kind of making a name for himself. So maybe Brian Shields can be the next in that line. But let's go ahead and get to a quick break, and when we come back, we'll wrap up the hour with John Varlas.
Add a little fun to your lunch break. Join Johnny Radio for Sports 56 Happy Hour from 11 to 1 every weekday on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
How long has it been since you heard the term being overstocked? Well, it's happened at Family Leisure. Yep. That means you get the savings, like select patio sets that are up to 50% off. If you need a play gym, you're in luck because they're also overstocked and start at under $2,000. Pool tables and game room items up to $700 off of in-stock items. Saunas, massage chairs, arcades, even theater seating. Special financing is available with free delivery. Family Leisure is extending sale pricing on all in-stock hot tubs and swim spas. And if you need supplies to close up your pool for the winter, Family Leisure has them up to 30% off. It's been a while since you've heard of an overstock sale, but Family Leisure is right in the middle of one. Huge deals and a huge overstocked inventory. That means great savings for you. It's happening now at Family Leisure, Whitten Road at I-40, where family and fun come together.
Let's end this year with a bang with Gossett Mitsubishi's Mitsubishi Motors year-end sales event. You want huge savings? We Gossett. The awards keep coming for the world's first and best-selling plug-in hybrid SUV, 2023 Mitsubishi Outlander PHEV, 420 total range and PGE. We Gossett at $299.96 a month. Plus, 2024 Mitsubishi Outlander Sport, buy for $26,850 or $379 a month. Plus, IIHS top safety pick in seat 7, 2024 Mitsubishi Outlander, $32,185 or $399 a month. All equipped with Mitsubishi's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. You want it, we Gossett. Gossett Mitsubishi, 1870 Covington Pike, or 24/7 at MemphisMitsubishi.com.
If you want it, we Gossett at Gossett Motor Cars.
PHEV PZ062 MSRP 44,355, 84 months, 500 military and conquest or loyalty rebate. Outlander RZ 006545, MSRP 33,185. Sport RU 001,004, MSRP 27,850. Includes all rebates and incentives. PF 695 excludes tax, title, and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through end of the month with approved credit. Dealer stock only.
Tease the season at Edwin Watts Golf Shops by Worldwide Golf for holiday specials this year. Featuring the Ping G430 drivers, which combine the ultimate combination of distance and forgiveness. And from Bushnell, the new Tour V6 Series laser rangefinders provide you the most accurate distances in golf. There's always gift cards in any amount for the special golfer you're shopping for. Edwin Watts Golf Shops is home of the 90-day satisfaction guarantee. Shop us in store or online at worldwidegolf.com.
They're taking care of beerness in Memphis right on the river with Grind City Brewing and all of their great products. Look, this was a dream come true for a father and son duo. And if you have not been to that brewery right on the river, just to the north of downtown, you're really missing something special. And now you can't miss their products. Wherever you go, you see a brand new label. It's clean, it's beautiful, it's distinctive. You'll know Grind City Brewing, and of course you know their products like Poppy's Pills, that great Pilsner, or Tiger Tail, that very creative craft malt liquor. There's the new Thaddeus Amber Lager. That is absolutely a great light beer. There's the India Pale called Godhopper. It's outstanding. And then there's the Belga, the Belgian-style wheat ale. They keep bringing hits at Grind City Brewing.
Now, back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by East Memphis Ace Hardware at the corner of White Station and Quince. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Welcome back in Sports 56 Mornings. We've got a couple minutes left in our first hour. John Varlas joining us from the Daily Memphian. We talked a lot of Preps football in the previous segment. Houston, Southwind, Fairleigh, they're all in action tonight with an opportunity to punch their ticket to the state championship. But today, Memphis Tigers are playing, and John, you have I've seen you talk about this team a lot, the football team and also the basketball team, both in action today. Before this football team, final regular season game of the season, what have you made of this year from both kind of an on-field and off-field standpoint? Because I feel like it's been kind of two different categories. I mean, you got the team who's going for their 9th win of the season on the field, but then off the field, kind of a lot of fans torn on what to make of this season.
Yeah, and you know, it's not for me to tell people how to think, right, but as somebody who's, you know, with a little bit of perspective, I think it's fair to say I think it's fair to say that, if Memphis ends up the year 9-3 and you're somehow unhappy, I don't know that that's the right way to feel. Right. Again, I can't tell you how to feel, but to me that seems an odd way to feel. I mean, this is a program that, historically hasn't done a whole lot, and people will come back and say, well, JV, Mike Norvell raised the bar and Justin Fuente raised the bar, and that is all true. But your bar is, your standard for your program is not the highest point you've ever been. Your standard is where you are, is what you are, and Memphis is what it is. It's a group of 5 program. It's got limitations in terms of NIL. It's got limitations in terms of recruiting because of what's around it. It's got now it's got limitations with the transfer portal. If they have a good player like a Caden Priestcorn or a Taj Washington, there's a chance they'll end up at one of the big dogs, so there's that problem as well. So, taking all that into context, I think 9-3, if they get there and get a chance for 10 in a bowl game, is an awesome accomplishment. I mean, Bryant, when you look at it, they beat all the teams they quote unquote should have beat, and they were very competitive in 3 games where they were the underdog against, let's face it, teams that are probably just better than they are this year. So that's my take on it for what it's worth. I mean, I hope people, I want people to enjoy what they have, enjoy the positives of this program rather than focusing on the, we're mediocre. We're struggling to beat Charlotte. We're struggling to beat North Texas. Well, you did beat them, and ask Hugh Freeze and Auburn how tough it is to win games. Ask some of these other coaches. It's not an easy thing to do, and I know it's a cliche, but it's hard to win a football game.
It's very hard.
And I see it all the time. I'm standing on the sidelines. You call the right play at the very right time, and the receiver drops it, or there's a holding penalty, or that wasn't even a penalty. It's just so many things that can happen. It's really hard.
Yeah, I mean, it's really hard. And at the end of the day, in 3 or 4 years when we look back at the season, nobody's going to talk about, you had to go to overtime with Charlotte to win. They're going to talk about hopefully a 9-3, maybe even a 10-3 record when they're looking back on it. So I think a lot of positives. But you're right. I mean, everybody kind of struggles to win games. And I mean, go look at Tulane. Tulane, who I think a lot of people think could be the New Year's 6 team out of the group of 5. They've struggled in a lot of these American conference games. So, it's definitely hard. What'd you make of the donation, the very gracious donation from Fred Smith and FedEx earlier this week?
Well, it's definitely a generous donation from Fred Smith and his family. And, and hopefully it'll go a way to fixing the problems they had with the stadium, because, to kind of pit the Grizzlies against the Tigers. I mean, they're both important to the community. People will take sides, and I understand Memphis has been here forever, and they've got a loyal fan base, and there's that thing. Well, the Grizzlies can always leave, and the university can't leave, so take care of the university. I understand that, but they're both important. They both do great things for the city. They both have provided lots of memorable moments for the sports fans in the city, and hopefully now with this donation, they'll be able to, kind of pave the way to working things out, and they can continue to do so. So I'm Mr. Positive and optimistic today on the day after Thanksgiving.
That's what we need. But I think you're right. I mean,
can't we all just get along, Brian?
I mean, hopefully now this will help, because it was starting to get a little ugly between the Grizzlies and the Tigers on who is going to be able to get the money. Last thing for you, John. Me and Zach talked about it a lot to open the show. I've been really impressed with Penny Hardaway's group this season. Villanova this afternoon. I mean, what have you made of this team? Bringing back only 2 guys from last season's team, bringing in all these new faces. I mean, it from watching a lot of these prep teams, when you kind of put a lot of new guys together, and obviously kind of younger guys, but still kind of in the same package. It's hard a lot of times for these teams to really get going early in the season. But I mean, what have you made of this team going and being undefeated right now and playing really well down in the Bahamas?
Well, that was my initial question, is how are you going to blend together so many new faces? But it's becoming apparent that he brought in the right new faces. And when I say that, he's brought in mature guys that are capable of blending together fast. It doesn't seem like these guys have ego issues. It seems like they're all content to play their respective roles on the team, and I think that's helping with the blending and the maturation process of this team, because he brought in the right individuals to do these jobs. And that win last night was super impressive, the win against Michigan. And you kind of touched on something I said too. I mean, this is a team where I think it's very unlikely that everybody's going to be cold on the same night.
There's so many
So
options.
you have an Ashton Hardaway step up. Yesterday you had a Nick Jourdain step up where, heretofore he hasn't done a tremendous amount in the games. He was awesome yesterday. I think David Jones is your star, but on the nights when he's off, you've got other guys that are gonna score, and that I'm not breaking any news here, but that's the name of the game.
That's right.
And I think they've got enough guys that can do that they can get through the rough patches of the season, or the rough patches of an individual game when things break down. Somebody's going to be able to kind of ride to the rescue and help them see that out. So no, I like the makeup of this team. I've always liked Hardaway as a coach. Even when he was at East, people were like, he's just got all the best guys and he's just rolling the balls out there. Well, no, he coached. I was at the games, sitting behind the bench, watching him teach and coach and instruct those guys. So no, I think he's a pretty solid coach, and I think he's getting better as he matures as a coach. And this team has a chance. They really do. I'm excited, and I'd be excited to see what they do tonight against the Villanova Wildcats.
Yeah, no, it's going to be a fun game.
Is this the first time they've played Villanova since that infamous Final Four game, or have they played at some point?
Only time I remember.
Yeah, I can't either.
I can't think. I'll have to look that up, but it's going to be a fun one. But John, thanks so much for joining us. This has been a lot of fun, and enjoy all these games tonight. And hopefully next week when you join the guys, we'll be talking about a couple of state championship games.
Well, I sure hope so, because other than that, I'm going to have to talk to we have to hear Eli bash me about my food preferences.
You'll be talking turkey and steak.
Versus steak.
It'll be, hopefully we'll be talking
Come on, Houston and South Wayland, Fairleigh, let's get it done.
Let's get a win. But let's go ahead and get to a break. When we come back, we'll talk Ole Miss Rebels with Brett Norsworthy.
Case IH is a proud supporter of the Mississippi Farm Bureau, and thanks to a membership benefits partnership, Mississippi Farm Bureau members receive a discount of up to $500 on every qualifying Case IH tractor and piece of equipment you purchase. This discount may be used with other promotions, rebates, or offers. So join Mid-South Ag Equipment and the Mississippi Farm Bureau and pocket up to $500 in savings. Call Mid-South Ag at 662-890-3141 to get your discount today.
5-Ash Roofing, it's what we do. Roofing and siding, gutters too. We're the pros you can trust to get it done right. Call on us. 5-Ash Roofing, the name to know. 5-Ash Roofing, the only way to go. 5-Ash Roofing, it's what we do. 5-Ash Roofing.
Is that not the corniest thing you've ever heard? Can you believe I paid good money for that silly jingle? Well, the experts say make it memorable, and I think I got my money's worth. 5-Ash Roof Services, proud partner of the Memphis Tigers and the official roofer of the Tigers home team. 5-Ash Roofing, 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
5-Ash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
Year-end means huge savings at Gossett Kia on the Pike with the season of giving back. How about 41 MPG for those holiday road trips? 2023 Kia Forte LXS, $229 a month, $27.99 due at signing. Family road trip, 2024 Kia Sportage LX with class-leading cargo room and rear seat legroom, $299 a month, $34.99 due at signing. And get where you're going for less in a 2023 Kia EV6 Wind, 134 City 101 Highway MPGE, $379 a month, $49.99 due at signing, all 36-month lease. Plus a free Charger with your EV purchase and Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Ask for Bobby J. He's ready to put you in a new Kia today. Gossett Kia, 1900 Covington Pike, or online, KiaCovingtonPike.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
All 36-month lease, $650 acquisition fee. Must finance through Hyundai. Forte LXS PE 694,095 MSRP 21,610. Sportage R722 7239 MSRP 28,715. EVP 560 3393 MSRP 50,200. Includes all rebates and incentives. Excludes tax title and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 11/30/2023 with approved credit dealer stock only.
Yo, Mark, long time no see. You still down at Dyer's?
Man, I'm not down at Dyer's. I'm out at Collierville Historic Town Square.
When'd you move out there?
We've been out there for about 13 years. We've got the shops, the park, we got the train the kids like to play on.
You still cooking those burgers the old-fashioned way?
Man, we're still flattening out those hamburger balls on a slab of marble and skillet frying them the old-fashioned way like they've been doing for 100 years.
Dude, you still have those onion rings.
Man, they're fantastic. Hand-breaded, served up just right.
I loved those milkshakes. Please tell me you're still doing those.
Man, we are hand-dipping those shakes, putting them in the old glass in the shake tin, served the old-fashioned way.
You got any new items out there I need to know about?
We're just doing a lot of gourmet sandwiches. We've got farm-raised catfish straight out of the Delta. We've got some hot tamales from Pasquale's Tamales out of Helena, Arkansas.
Man, are they served in the husk?
What those guys like to say, they're so good, you'll suck the shuck.
Go see my buddy Mark at Dyer's Cafe in Collierville's historic town square.
Join Jer and Dez and your Memphis Grizzlies tonight at 4 p.m. when your Grizzlies host the Phoenix Suns in the final group play game of the in-season tournament. Get in on all the in-season tournament hype and secure your tickets today by calling 901-888-HOOP or visiting Grizzlies.com.
Ole Miss Rebel Yell is back. The Rebel Yell Hotline Radio Show is back on WHBQ Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Every Monday night at 6, hear the latest news on your Ole Miss Rebels with Yancey Porter with 24/7 Sports, former Ole Miss defensive tackle Mike Fitzsimmons, Gordon Ford covering SEC Sports Call, and former Ole Miss baseball announcer Gary Darby. From kickoff to free throw to extra innings, your Ole Miss Sports on the Rebel Yell Hotline Show right here Monday night at 6 on Sports 56, 560 AM and 98.5 FM. Your Mid-South Sports Station.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good morning. We're still in good shape right now as far as serious wrecks out here. Plenty of radar. That's for sure. You're going to see more and more of that all over the weekend. Traffic still looking good right now on 40 westbound from Germantown Parkway all the way up to Whitten Road, coming up from the south. Not bad. Through DeSoto County all the way up into South Haven. Hey, don't miss it this year. Enchanted Garden of Lights at Rock City in Chattanooga throughout the holiday season. Check them out at crockcity.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers.
Diamonds are forever. Woo!
Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Welcome back into Sports 56 Mornings. Bryant Dacus, Zach Boyd in for Greg and Eli this morning. To wrap up the week on a Friday, and nice enough to join us this morning, Brett Norsworthy. He's my co-host in the afternoon on Sports Time from 3 to 6. He's also pre- and post-game for Ole Miss football, and he was at the Egg Bowl last night in Starkville as the Rebels get a 17-7 win over Mississippi State. Brett, thanks so much for joining us this morning after a long night of festivities at the Egg Bowl. But what did you make of this win for Ole Miss, kind of doing it differently than most wins that have come under Lane Kiffin? This one, more of a defensive game for both teams instead of kind of the offensive game that we've kind of come to know from Lane Kiffin.
Good morning, Brian. Good morning, Zach. It was very, very, very different. I would dare say I haven't looked and had a lot of time to concentrate on it to go back and see if he's won a game at Ole Miss with that few of points scored, just 17. 17-7, the final margin, and it was hotly contested. It's like a lot of these rival games. Every yard, every square inch was fought like it was the last play of the year, and in essence, it really was for both sides. For Ole Miss, going to go to a great bowl, and for State, I don't think they will. Unless there's a lack of bowl-eligible teams, and I don't know how all the APR will sort out. But it was a really, really physical kind of just get to the end of the year, get to the end of the game type game. It was it was really gnashed out at the line of scrimmage. It was just not many free-flowing plays all night.
No, it really wasn't.
The pre-scoring touchdown was about the easiest thing all night.
It was about it. But Quinshon Judkins, a good game for him, 119 yards on the ground and a touchdown. It seemed like, he ran the ball really hard and kind of, like you said, everyone was fighting for extra yards. And there were a couple plays where he was hit at about the line of scrimmage, a couple of yards after the line of scrimmage, and he kind of fought his way for an additional 4 or 5 yards. I thought he was really big in the run game for Ole Miss last night.
Well, he was, and over 100 yards, over 1,000 yards for the year in the leadership. And really in the second half, go into halftime at 3-0. Nobody had that. And it was a veritable punt off. I mean, both punters had to ice legs down at halftime. And Quinshon in the second half, he just really ran angry, and he's so good with the ball. The Ole Miss only having one fumble all year. They just don't turn it over. And again, last night in that narrow of a game, that closely contested, we know just a few plays. It's how fractious it is for Ole Miss, for a lot of teams out there. No turnovers on 75 plays. That's why I heard you with the great John Varlas, and it's so true. It is very hard. A basketball coach here once said winning is hard. It is true. It's cliched. It's trite. It's master of the obvious, but it is very true. And now in college football, except for 2 or 3 teams at the top, Georgia, Bama, Ohio State, probably Michigan in there. Okay, maybe 5. Oregon, a couple others. The talent separation's just not that wide. It's not that different. Never mind point spreads and in rival games, never mind record books. It's going to be closely contested. Ole Miss is 10-2. You change 6 plays.
Oh yeah.
And they're 6-6.
Yeah. Yeah, you're absolutely right, and that was a hard-fought game last night in a rivalry
I've been there those years those plays changed.
Oh, yeah, you have. What did you make of the game Jackson Dart had? Because I thought really, when you look at the stats, 96 yards, 14 for 26, 1 touchdown, ran for 30 yards, but I thought kind of the biggest thing was he goes down in the second half. They call targeting. The commentators on ESPN, they both kind of were saying they didn't think he was going to come back in that game, but he comes in after a couple plays and I thought really showed a lot of toughness late in the game. What did you make of his performance last night?
Well, he was injured, but it was not from the targeting play. It was not anything head or neck or concussed type thing, or he would have never gone back in. There's just no chance of that happening.
No.
Nobody's talking their way back in, and there's no coach, no team official, no doctor, no attorney, and they're on the sidelines.
Wow.
There's nobody going to go, you get back in there.
Nobody's taking that chance.
It's just not happening.
No.
His biggest affliction, injury-wise, is I can tell it now. He got badly hurt in the Arkansas game. He's been hurt down the stretch, and it has affected his throwing motion. You see a lot of balls that are that sail on him, and his ankle was so heavily taped last night. And there was even the report from Chris Lowe before game during the run up to the game that he was going to be a game time decision. Well, it was no decision. I mean, we're going to tape it up, and he's going to play with that. That's very different than playing concussed.
Absolutely.
And so he got that repair. He got that kind of fixed after that targeting play that was very controversial. And I will tell any Mississippi State friend of mine, any Mississippi State foe of mine, I can't explain to you what targeting is anymore. It is very nebulous. I don't know how the player kind of mid-flight adjusts and be able. I mean, you almost have to be, almost an acrobat to be able to do it. But we also know that they're sensitive to it and they're going to call it.
Absolutely.
Now, what I'd also tell my state friends is that's I don't think they should assume that Ole Miss doesn't convert 4th and 2.5 inches, because that's what it would have been.
Right. No, you're absolutely right about that. They would have gone for it.
And they may have stopped it. I don't know either.
Yeah, but you really don't know. On the other side, for Mississippi State, you kind of said it, kind of just trying to get to the end of the year. What was the feeling down there in Starkville? What did you hear from people from fans on the Mississippi State side about just kind of how this whole season has gone? I mean, really, not even just the coaching. I mean, Will Rogers, who was back last night, he hasn't played most of the year because of injury. I mean, it's really just been a difficult season for them.
It has been, Bryant, and we know what started the difficult nature of it. It was the loss of just one of the great figures in the history of college sports, and not just a colorful, gad-about fun figure, a true offensive genius in Coach Mike Leach. And they've really been trying to overcome that. Now, after the loss, you get a new head coach hired and start over. And we know at any time, for any reason, starting over in the SEC. There's no more SEC West, but there's still the SEC. Now it's going to be 1 through 16.
Yep.
And what's the fan appetite going to be? Well, we know there's going to be no appetite to be in the teens, 13, 14, 15, 16. There's not going to be much of an appetite to be 10, 11, 12 in that group. And basketball's been kind of 1 through 14 for a while now, and we know that dynamic of teams that have to play on Wednesday night. Well, if you're down there in that grouping, people are going to be mad. But the state fandom, it was a great atmosphere. Yeah. It always is. So much fun, both sides. I don't know how this game has kind of turned into a visitor's game. I'm bad grammar here to be demonstrative. That just ain't right.
It's not.
I mean, because that should be the ultimate home field, because we're talking very evenly matched teams. You mentioned Will Rogers. It was described to me, we've wondered all year what his injury really was. It was described to me as a broken sternum, broken chip. Yeah, and
that
just
hurts.
Imagine that pain in everything you try to do just in life.
Oh, man.
Sneezing, coughing, breathing, walking, talking, anything. Anything you try to do in just regular life, much less throwing a football and maybe and somebody hitting you. And he played hard. I'm going to say this, and I'm going to say it as respectfully and appreciatively of him as anybody I've ever watched play. There's not a more undynamic, just standing there in his uniform looking player ever. Kind of a player just standing there with his shirt off ever in the history of football to be that good a ball player.
Oh, yeah.
To be that good a competitor and to play his rear end off like he did and to shatter records at State. And, he'll forever be linked with Pirate, with Mike Leach.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's been fun to watch him play at Mississippi State. It really has. For the head coach position, who are some names you think they'll go after? Did you hear anything being down in Starkville yesterday about maybe who they could be going after?
Well, for State fans, I think they should be really proud of the administration from Dr. Keenum to the new athletics director. They're aiming high. And now, that may not be an established head coach, but it may be a familiar name with a lot of offensive wizardry that people know in this area. And it very well could be Jeff Lebby.
Oh,
wow. And that would be fun in the Egg Bowl world.
Really fun.
Look, I'm going to be the first to say, if Jeff Lebby's hired at Mississippi State, I want them to go 11-1 every year. I love him to death. The one loss I'd want him to have, and I think he'd understand and he'd appreciate that. But I'm a big fan. He just loved him at Ole Miss, and what he did with Matt Corral's development, what he did with the quarterback structure at Ole Miss, it's led by Coach Kiffin.
Sure.
But Jeff Lebby did it well. What he's doing this year with Dylan Gabriel, fully healthy for Oklahoma, and what he's done in the past. So that's one popular name out there. There are some established head coaches that I think they're going to consider. They're going to get a good coach, and it's a good job to have.
Yeah, no, it absolutely is.
There's only 16 of them.
That's right. I mean, it's the SEC. It just means more. And I think they're going to go out and get a really good head coach, and could be a lot of fun at Mississippi State. Last question for you.
And I want people to really think about this weekend. When you start thinking about resumes, and the SEC properly was bashed for a lack of success in September. When you see Arizona sailing around and may even finish, I think can finish second even in the Pac-12.
So. Yeah.
When you watch that, remember, because we hold that Alabama properly, that Alabama lost properly against them in September to Texas. Well, you can't have it both ways. If you're going
right.
to think September mattered, then it has to matter when Mississippi State beat Arizona.
Yep. No, you're absolutely right, and it's kind of easy to forget because of how long ago it was, how early it was in the season.
I promise you, I hadn't gotten on Highway 82 good last night to go to 45, and I was thinking, Ole Miss just beat a team in Starkville by 10 that beat Arizona.
Sure did. Sure did. No, that's a really good point. Brett, last thing for you before we let you go. With the regular season complete now for Ole Miss, looking back on this regular season, and I know not a lot of sleep for you last night, so you haven't had a ton of time to kind of reflect yet, but who would you say player of the year for this team and story of the seain for Ole Miss?
That is tough because it's got to be one of the big three. It's got to be Dart, Judkins, or Harris, and I would have to go to Dart and how careful he was with the football in these fractious, nebulous, really, really close games. I would go with Dart. Boy, I hate doing that to Quinshon Judkins because it felt like I was interviewing him about 2 hours ago post game, and he was sensational. He was great to me all year, and then Trey Harris. But I think the turning point of the year. It was big in that heat down at Tulane. Ole Miss found something that day. Now, got a break not having to play Michael Pratt. I'm fully cognizant of that. I was there sweating gravy that day. It was so darn blast furnace hot. But the big moment of the year that really turned a pretty good season into a great season. Down 9 with 5 minutes to go against LSU, against Jaden Daniels, that I think is going to win the Heisman Trophy. And I think he's going to get my vote. I'm almost sure he's going to get my vote unless he just stinks up the place tomorrow morning in Baton Rouge.
No, that was a great game. And, I mean, you look back on this season, and I'm impressed. 10-2, and your two losses are against Alabama and Georgia. And everybody in the country struggles to beat those two teams.
I'm not hiding my face in shame losing to Alabama and Georgia.
No.
And both of them at their places. Didn't play great in the second half against Alabama and didn't play great after the first quarter against Georgia. But both those teams are just better. They're just superior to about 128 college football teams in FBS out of 133. They just are.
Yeah, man.
But also, Brian, this before anybody texts in, boy, Ole Miss was lucky, blah blah blah. Absolutely, sure. Almost every bounce from the 50-yarder hitting the crossbar last night to the A&M, the tip ball against A&M, to the interception late when it felt like K.J. Jefferson had Arkansas on the march. It did. It was one of those years where it was a rabbit's foot year on the injury front, on the break front, and sometimes the best sailors have the wind at their back.
Hey, that's how it happens. That's why you play the games, and that's why everyone just looks at the wins and losses at the end of the season, because anything can happen. But Brett,
we'll digest it, and we'll get the grade book out next week.
Yes, we will, and I'm excited about it. Brett, thanks so much for joining. This has been a lot of fun, and enjoy the rest of your Friday and your weekend. And like you said, we'll talk again on Monday.
Same to you and Zach. Thank you.
Thanks, Brett. Brett Norsworthy, my co-host on Sports Time in the afternoons from 3 to 6. He's also on Ole Miss post-game and pre-game. He was at the game last night, like he said, interviewed Quinshon Judkins after the game, who really had a fantastic Egg Bowl, and I thought was really the difference maker for Ole Miss's offense in what was a defensive game. Zach, before we get to a break, I mentioned earlier that we've got basically a full day of college football today, and it's really exciting to have this many games on a Friday. I'm going to run down the games real quick. All of these games, I should say, are on television. No ESPN Plus, no Peacock, no, I think those are the only streaming services that any college football games are played on, but none of that. Memphis Temple at 11. We're going to talk to Greg Gaston in about an hour, a little more than an hour. He's in Philadelphia for that game, so we'll talk about that game shortly. TCU Oklahoma at 11. Iowa Nebraska at 11. Miami Boston College at 11. Toledo Central Michigan at 11. Ohio and Akron at 11. UTSA Tulane at 2:30. Utah State New Mexico at 2:30. Missouri Arkansas at 3. Air Force Boise State at 3. Texas State Texas. Not Texas State. Texas Tech, I think. Yeah, Texas Tech and Texas. Misspelled there. At 6:30. Penn State Michigan State at 6:30. And then Oregon State Oregon on 7:30. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 top 25 teams playing today in college football. It's a great slate.
Yeah, especially capping off Oregon State, Oregon.
Yeah, that's going to be a heck of a game tonight on Fox at 7:30. That'll be a lot of fun. But no, I'm excited, and Zach, I'm going to be honest. I think UTSA is going to beat Tulane today.
Ooh.
I'm picking the upset. If anybody wants to pick out there, I'm taking UTSA.
Is that just one of those gut feeling type of things?
I just think they've played better. I mean, Tulane has been in a couple dog fights this year. I think UTSA, they have 3 losses on the season, but all 3 of those losses came when they were missing Frank Harris, who is a sensational quarterback, and now he's back. He's fully healthy. This team's rolling. I watched last Friday night, they played South Florida, and rolled past them. I mean, it wasn't even a competition. And we saw UTSA come into Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium and give Memphis a game. And so, I think UTSA has a really good shot here. It's on the road. They're going to need a lot to win that game, but that's going to be an exciting one. ABC, the American, getting ABC treatment this afternoon, which will be a lot of fun. So there are a lot of good games, and I should point out the Iowa and Nebraska total. Have you seen what the total is for this game?
No.
24 and a half.
I say 15 and a
half. You're not wrong. I mean, you're not far off. 24 and a half. I mean, that's incredible. I mean, the lowest was a couple weeks ago, and it was like 28 and a half. And people were like, oh my gosh, 28 and a half for a college football game? It's incredible.
This is a disgrace.
Can I tell you a secret? I think I'm going to take the under. Under 24 and a half. I think I might take it. I mean, why not?
And Iowa is going to be in the Big Ten championship game.
That's right. So they have nothing to play for today. I mean, they might just be out there, kind of hanging out. Nebraska, I've seen them play a couple times this year. Their offense is horrendous. Now, this might be a sucker play, but I might take the under. And also, what a better way to spend your Friday afternoon than sweating an under 24 and a half at 12:30. I mean, halftime, about 12:30, you're sitting there like, oh man, it's 7-0 right now. Let's go. Now, last week, what was it? Iowa put up 22 points by themselves. So Iowa could very well get there by themselves.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Right now, Iowa points on the season, 18 and a half.
That's what they're averaging this year?
That's 123rd in the country.
Brian Ferentz, was their offensive coordinator. He's not anymore.
Oh, they fired him?
Uh-huh. Well, he might be ending the season. I don't think so. I can't remember. It's been a while since that story came out. But, in his contract, he restructured his contract last offseason and basically said, I have to be fired if the offense doesn't average 25 points per game this season, and they did not get anywhere close to it. He was like, "We got now." They did lose their starting quarterback early in the season, and their offense was kind of rolling before that. But I mean, this offense is bad. But I mean, it's almost like art. I said this to one of my buddies a couple weeks ago. Me and him were talking. This was a couple weeks ago. I forgot when it was. And I forgot who they were playing. Maybe it was the Iowa-Maryland game last week or 2 weeks ago. And my buddy was like, it is painful to watch Iowa football. He was like, it is worse than watching paint dry. And I said, you're looking at it the wrong way. I was like, watching Iowa football is like watching Van Gogh paint the Mona Lisa, or excuse me, Starry Night was Van Gogh. Watching Van Gogh paint Starry Night while also cutting his ear off. Wasn't that the one that cut his ear off? I think so. But it's beautiful. It's like art, but also a little painful to watch. But it's you gotta appreciate what it is.
It's like watching Wile E. Coyote try to catch Roadrunner, but unsuccessfully cannot complete their mission.
I like that. But I mean, it's fun to watch. If you haven't watched Iowa football this year, great opportunity today to do it because they play this morning at 11 on CBS. Against Nebraska. So that could be a fun game. But let's go ahead, get to a break. When we come back, we haven't talked to any Grizzlies today. They're back in action this afternoon, an in-season tournament game for the Beale Street boys. So let's go ahead, get to a break. We'll talk some Grizzlies on the other side.
You already know you can listen to Sports 56 anywhere with the Sports 56 app or at sports56whbq.com. But you can also watch us daily with live video of all of our shows on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch.
Guns, guns, and more guns. Over 700 firearms in stock. Home defense guns, old guns, new guns, used guns, big guns, little guns. Every gun you can think of, Classic Arms has them. All brands like Glock, Sig, Colt, Ruger, Smith & Wesson, Browning, Beretta, Benelli, Remington, Winchester, and more. Guaranteed lowest prices in town. Only gun importer in the Mid-South. Free gun inspections and appraisals and free bore sighting for the upcoming deer season. Shop online at ClassicArmsOfMemphis.com or visit Classic Arms at 1740 Germantown Parkway behind Corky's Barbecue in Cordova.
Jenkins Floors and More in Hernando is growing. This family business started up 5 years ago with just one pallet, and now they have hundreds. Tim, the owner, gets calls from people everywhere and can sometimes save them up to 50% on wood flooring, carpet, tile, and vinyl. Jenkins Floors and More helps with renovations, home building, and installation. Jenkins Floors and More, number 6 East Commerce Street in Hernando. Also in Little Rock and coming soon to Tennessee. Call 662-469-9350 for more information.
Uncorn flavor, Corky's barbecue. We're cooking it up, down home way. Hickory smoke flavor like the good old days. A whole lot of good eating is waiting for you. Our Memphis barbecue tradition, you'll love what we do. Uncorn flavor, Corky's barbecue.
Hi, Jimmy Stovall here with Corky's Barbecue. I am honored that so many Memphians trust Corky's to serve our hickory smoked turkeys and spiral sliced honey glazed hams to their families for Thanksgiving and Christmas. This year, let us make it even easier with our holiday feast. Ham or turkey and gravy, and your choice of 2 of our southern sides. Cornbread dressing, sweet potato casserole, mac and cheese, or baked potato casserole. Reserve yours today at corkysbbq.com before we sell out.
Encore flavor, Corky's barbecue.
How's the Christmas shopping going? Yeah, that's what I thought. But Frontier Western Store will make it a lot easier. Everyone loves something from Frontier. They have thousands of coats, shirts, and boots. Outfit the entire family today. Looking for a Carhartt beanie? Frontier has every color they make. You'll find a whole wagon full of beanies. You'll also run into the largest selection anywhere of in-stock Carhartt and Ariat jackets and coats. They have endless aisles, an astounding collection at amazing prices. Don't forget the boots, work boots, and dress boots from Rocky, Dan Post, and especially Ariat. Frontier is the place to shop for name brand boots at the lowest prices every day. Way lower than chain stores and online. Thousands of boots in all sizes for men, women, and children. Not sure what to get? Frontier gift cards are always the right size, color, and price. Frontier Western Store, 5880 Goodman Road in Olive Branch, or shop online 24/7 at frontierwesternstore.com. Locally owned and operated since 1967.
How long has it been since you heard the term being overstocked? Well, it's happened at Family Leisure. Yep. That means you get the savings, like select patio sets that are up to 50% off. If you need a play gym, you're in luck because they're also overstocked and start at under $2,000. Pool tables and game room items up to $700 off of in-stock items. Saunas, massage chairs, arcades, even theater seating. Special financing is available with free delivery. Family Leisure is extending sale pricing on all in-stock hot tubs and swim spas. And if you need supplies to close up your pool for the winter, Family Leisure has them up to 30% off. It's been a while since you've heard of an overstock sale, but Family Leisure is right in the middle of one. Huge deals and a huge overstocked inventory. That means great savings for you. It's happening now at Family Leisure, Whitten Road at I-40, where family and fun come together.
Roofs, roofs, and more roofs. Chris Price here with Metro Builders. Is your roof leaking? Do you have mold stains on the ceiling of your home or business? Is your carrier denying your claim or offering a repair simply because they don't have enough documentation? You need a contractor that performs work for insurance claims for policyholders each and every day, and Metro Builders is here to assist. Call Metro Builders. At Metro Builders, we provide free estimates, consultation, and claim repairs. Metro Builders' process of arriving, inspecting, diagnosing problems, and estimating is second to none, commercial and residential. Residential. Our team of Hague-certified technicians are standing by to assist you with providing estimates and photos to your carrier to document your loss. All you owe is what your policy states. No large fees on top of the final scope. We use high-grade materials and are certified by companies like Atlas, CertainTeed, Owens Corning, and Mulehide with labor warranties up to 50 years on all of our jobs. Metro Builders provides roof repairs across the Mid-South. Call Metro Builders to schedule your inspection free. Call me. 901-375-1717. That's 901-375-1717.
Memphis music legends, the Bar-Kays, will be at this year's AutoZone Liberty Bowl, and you'll want to be there too. The Bar-Kays will be performing the music that made Memphis at the President's Gala on December 28th at the Peabody, and at halftime of the 65th AutoZone Liberty Bowl game on December 29th.
Everybody say, so big up.
Get your tickets today by calling the AutoZone Liberty Bowl at 795-7700. The Tennessee Highway Safety Office reminds you that fans don't let fans drive drunk.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good morning. Still a couple of minor problems down here in the last 15-20 minutes. It still looks good coming down I-40 in from Fayette County into Shelby County over here on 40 westbound at 269. It looks good all the way up to Whitten Road. Traffic's on the increase just a bit. Certain sections of Austin P Highway coming southbound towards the interstate. Don't miss it this year. Enchanted Garden of Lights at Rock City in Chattanooga, especially during the holiday season. Check them out at crockcity.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers.
Don't you just love it?
Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Well, no Greg, no Eli today. Bryant Dacus, Zach Boyd in for the day on this Black Friday as we wrap up the week. We talked a lot of Tigers, both football and basketball. We're going to get back to that conversation in about an hour when Greg Gaston, the host of this show, joins us to talk about the Tigers and Temple. That kicks off at 11 a.m. And if you weren't listening earlier, I mean, what a great day we have on ESPN today. 11 a.m., Tigers versus Temple, last regular season game of the season for the Tigers. Right when that game ends, we're going to go immediately down to the Bahamas for Memphis versus Villanova. It almost seems like, Zach, and we're going to talk Grizzlies here in a second because I do want to talk about the Grizzlies with Zach Boyd, who is there for all the games. He's paying attention very closely to all these games, so nobody I trust more when it comes to Grizzlies than Zach Boyd. But it really feels like, Zach, yesterday that Memphis and Arkansas, kind of met up before the game. And Memphis was like, hey, we've got an 11 a.m. football game tomorrow, so could we win this game and so that we can play at 2:30 so our fans can watch football and basketball? And then Arkansas was like, actually, that makes a whole lot of sense because we play football at 3 o'clock tomorrow, so we don't want to be in the 2:30 game because then our fans would have to pick between football and basketball. Right. Not that it would be a hard decision for Arkansas fans. Their football team has not been very good this year.
Clearly this plan has been talked out.
Yeah, I mean, it's okay. Oh, perfect. So we'll lose, and then we'll play North Carolina early tomorrow so that our fans can watch that game and then watch football. I mean, it just makes sense.
And then you just do us a favor by beating Ole Miss.
Exactly. It makes perfect sense. It makes perfect sense.
Yeah, you just do us a favor later on in the season by beating Ole Miss and then get into the tournament and knock off one of our other competitors.
Exactly. So, also, Tigers 2-0 in SEC play. Yeah. So, I mean, how about that?
It means more.
It means more in Memphis, Tennessee, in the 904, as some would say. What was I about to say? Oh, Arkansas, they now get North Carolina and Duke in a 5-day span because they play Duke Tuesday night, I think, Tuesday or Wednesday. Ooh. So they get both sides of the rivalry.
It's gonna be rough.
Throw Arkansas into the middle of that rivalry. How about that? We'll see what happens. It should be a fun day of basketball. It really should be. But Zach, we got to talk Grizzlies. Wednesday night was not fun seeing their old friend Dylan Brooks. It looked like Dylan Brooks and some of the Grizzlies got out there real early, shooting around, hugging it out, talking a little bit. But then when warm-up started, DB locked in, gave the old stare down across the court, as he does from time to time, and he leads the Rockets to a lopsided victory over the Grizzlies Wednesday night.
Well, I wouldn't say he led.
Well, he was on the team. You
He
know?
was just on the team.
He didn't have a great game.
He
But
wasn't even in clutch time.
No.
Well, the last few minutes of
But
the
hey, he's, emotional leader. Isn't that what we used to call him? The emotional leader of the team?
No.
No?
I never called him that.
You didn't call him that? I heard a lot of people call him. Well, he just
brings the
it all.
intensity.
He just brings it. Okay.
Like, all right.
Gotcha.
He bringing the fouls, too.
Bringing all the shots, too. I mean, good Lord. No, but that Rockets team has been, I don't want to say impressive, but they've surprised me early in the season.
I mean, that's what happens when you blow your money on a really good
two
point
players.
guard and a really good defensive player. Like,
Uh-huh.
I don't think it's that shocking that the Rockets are all of a sudden above 500.
Yeah,
like the core that they have is not that bad.
Oh no, not at all.
You needed a little bit of an edge.
Mm-hmm. And those young guys
somebody to run the team
coming
properly.
into their own.
And that's Van Vliet and that's Dylan Brooks right now.
And my guy Şengün down low. Oh, what a guy that is.
That's Baby Jokic.
Oh, man. That's a good player right there.
He's Baby Jokic for real.
He's so fun to watch. Last year, I'm sure I've told you this before, but last year when the Rockets were just awful, I fell in love with Alperen Şengün, and I wanted to watch every Rockets game just to watch him play because I was like, this guy is unbelievable. And I watch more college basketball than I do NBA. I watch most all of the Grizzlies games. I'm locked into all the Grizzlies games. Some of those late night games I have to go to bed at halftime. But I'm locked into Grizzlies games. Outside of that, I'll have a couple of teams that I watch, but I'm not just gonna pull up, League Pass on a random Tuesday and watch the Wizards, that's just not me. And so I was watching a ton of Rockets games last year, and Jay Morgan, who used to work here, he put me on a Rockets ban. I couldn't watch the Rockets. And he was like, this team's so bad. They don't play good basketball. The fundamentals are not there. They don't play any defense. You're not allowed to watch the Rockets play. So I couldn't watch the Rockets last year. But now that they're better, I guess I can watch them now. And so, that's entertaining.
Why he put a stipulation on you not watching the Rockets?
Couldn't let me. He said they didn't play any defense. So he's like, if you're going to watch NBA basketball, you've got to watch a team.
But if you want to watch pure chaos and live entertainment.
And that's what I'm here for. I mean, I like watching college basketball. I'm here for chaos and missed shots and everything. I mean, I watched a college basketball game the other day. I can't remember who it was. Texas A&M, Corpus Christi, and some other team. 6 straight possessions with missed shots. It was incredible. And not missed shots just they missed it. It was blown layups. It was impressive how much they were missing. But Zach, Grizzlies back in action tonight. I guess I should say this afternoon against the Suns. About a 4 o'clock tip-off. I think that game's going to be on NBA TV. But last night we get the announcement from Woj. Amid a slew of injuries, the Grizzlies are signing Shaquille Harrison and Jalen Noel to a 10-day hardship contracts. Zach, give me everything you got on Shaq Harrison and Jalen Noel. I mean, are these going to be the guys that save the Grizzlies?
I mean, well, Shaq is a solid defender.
Yeah.
So at the point guard, he's not super elite, but he could do his job. So and he was here in training camp early in the season.
Right.
So thank God they didn't delete the pictures and all the all the media day stuff. You got to go through that again for him. But you know what you're gonna get out of him. You need some solid defensive play to kind of flip the game around. You could throw him out there. Jalen Noel, he's more the wild card of the two because he can score, and that's the issue right now with the Grizzlies. Is that you can expect 20 points from Jaren and from Dez.
That's about it.
But you're not getting 20 from someone. You're hoping that Santi could be that third person that could get 20 because he's capable of doing that. But outside of maybe 2.5 players, you're not getting another double-digit scorer unless someone is having a really, really, really good game.
Yeah.
So he could be the wild card in all of this where he can where he can come in and he can give you something off the bench. Now he has baller potential.
I do like baller
Well,
potential.
that's what we're calling it. It's
Okay.
like the body language of a hooper.
Okay.
If you understand what
Uh-huh.
if you understand what I'm saying.
Sure. Pick up what you're putting down.
Yeah, so he has the body language of a guy that knows how to put the ball in the bucket.
Okay.
The question is, will we see him on the floor? Because again, like they're very particular about who they want to put out on the floor, and then obviously the system that they're trying to run. So we'll see. Hopefully, we'll see him tonight at home.
So will they be active today?
I mean, they could be available today.
Huh. I'd like to see him today. I mean, why not?
I mean, I would like. I mean, considering the fact that the next player up is Vince Williams Jr., who technically didn't get any playing time towards the end of that Rockets game.
Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah,
I thought he showed a little bit in that game before. Like I thought he gave him some good minutes, and then just nothing against the Rockets.
He really had the Celtics kind of like figured out defensively. Now it kind of helps to have Marcus Smart sitting right next to you.
Yeah, that helps a lot. But like, you're right. I mean, this coaching staff is very particular about how they roll out guys and lineups they want to run and different things. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, I wish at times where they would just say, all right, Jaren got the hot hand.
Yeah.
Let's ride him out until he stops scoring.
Yeah.
And then you put in Dez, and then hopefully Dez can pick it up and just ride him out until he stops scoring. And it just flip-flops back. I just think, breaking their scoring momentum, I think you just kind of just let it ride. But, that's just me.
Well, the status report today for today's game, this was put out last night, questionable. Desmond Bane with a left foot strain. Do you think we see Desi today? I mean, because that throws in a whole, that's another wrench into the.
I hope so. But then again, I could see them saying, "Yeah, Dez, now take 5."
And I could also see that be a big reason of why they picked up those two guys last night.
Yeah, that also
Desi
could be
ain't
as
playing.
well. They have 5 more games until the in-season tournament starts.
Is over.
Semi start.
Oh, I see, like the actual tournament format.
Yeah, so like December 3rd through the 10th.
Yeah,
it's like nothing but open space. I don't know if they're gonna fill it with games or whatever, but it's just nothing but open space.
Huh? And sure, the Grizz surely ain't going to the in-season tournament. So
yeah, that's a nice little week and a half off.
I mean, they can use it. I mean, no team needs it more than the Grizzlies right now.
And then by that time, that's 5 games into Ja Morant's suspension. That we'll be 6 games away.
Wow, that'd be nice. Out for the Grizzlies today. We know about Steven Adams. We know about Brandon Clark. Luke Kennard, Jake LaRavia, both out. Marcus Smart still out, and Xavier Tillman also out. So, I mean, they're going to be thin again. I mean, what's new? It seems like how this season has gone is just super thin every game.
Now, I will say, and you think about this as well. I think this is the first time during this core that they have dealt with a lot of injuries. Now, I understand like they had COVID mixed with injuries. That's a little different.
That's different. Yeah.
This is just strictly injuries where they have multiple guys in the rotation miss multiple games, and you're just having to figure it out.
Well, and me and Brett were talking about this earlier this week of like. It seems like, and we had DeMichael Cole on Monday, and we were asking him about this. It seems like anytime a player gets back healthy, and you're like, oh, okay, cool. Luke Kennard's back. Oh, we could really use 3-point shooting from Kennard. He's back. 2 guys get injured right after that, and then Kennard's back on the injury list. I mean, like, it just seems like this team early in the season just can't catch a break at all.
Yeah, it's I don't know what is it this year.
I don't know.
The injury bug has really gotten to this team.
It's got him bad. I mean, this is like we're not getting like close, but like getting borderline close to that 2007 team when
basically
like everybody and their mother was injured the entire season. Like that season was awful.
Well, right now we're sitting at 21 players, including the two-way players.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
And the season record is 28.
28, yeah.
And
we're 2 months into the season, a month into the season.
Yeah.
Well, maybe the fortunes will turn around the time Ja gets back, and maybe the injury bug will go away. Ja will be back, and this team can start rolling. Because that's kind of the biggest thing is, like, I know a lot of people want to talk about this team. You're really struggling early, but, like...
They can't score.
There's no consistency out there. Everyone's been injured.
They can't score either.
They can't score either, and Ja will help that coming back.
I think at times, and that's the thing too, because they're like in some of these games, like they're not that far off.
No,
it's just they're missing that third and fourth gear.
I mean, Zach, they could have beat the Celtics
the
other night, and the Celtics are one of the best teams in the NBA.
They could have beat the Heat. They could have beaten the Mavericks before they decided to stretch their legs. Had Denver on the ropes at home.
Oh yeah,
could
that
have
was
beat that New Orleans game on opening night.
Really could have. Well, let's get to a quick break. We'll talk some more Grizzlies on the other side because I do want to talk about today's matchup against the Suns. Suns coming in, playing really, really well. So let's go ahead and get to a break. When we come back, we'll talk some more Grizzlies.
Join the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin, for Wolo and Friends. Weekday mornings from 10 to 11, here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
It's the Black Friday sales event on now at Gossett Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Fiat on the Pike. And Gossett's got no payments for 90 days. So keep your holiday money in your pocket and get to Gossett today. 2023 Jeep Renegade $5,000 off or buy it for $25,040. 2023 Grand Wagoneer Series 111 $10,000 off. And 2023 Jeep Gladiator we Gossett at $12,000 off MSRP. It's your time to buy during the Black Friday sales event at Gossett Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Fiat on the Pike. So drive past the rest and come to the best at Gossett on the Pike or shop online at GossettMotorCars.net.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
Renegade Triple P 57091 MSRP 30,040. Wagoneer PS 508 331 MSRP 112,285. Gladiator PL 509 834 MSRP 68,815. Financing and deferred monthly to well-qualified buyers through Chrysler Capital or Stellantis Financial Services. Take retail delivery by 11/30/23. Includes all rebates and incentives. $695 PF. Excludes tax title and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through end of the month with approved credit. Dealer stock only.
Want to play a private country club but only pay daily greens fees? Meadowbrook Country Club in West Memphis is your place. You can now play a beautiful, challenging course for only $59 plus tax, including cards. Meadowbrook Country Club features champion Bermuda greens and now is available to everyone. A membership is only $350 per month and includes tennis, pickleball, and swimming, plus a great restaurant and bar. Golf Pro Mark can even fix you up with custom-made tricks on clubs. Call 870-394-4186 today for your Tuesday through Sunday tee time at Meadowbrook Country Club in West Memphis.
Start your day the right way at La Palapa with the biggest, baddest breakfast burrito around. Chorizo, cheese, rice, beans, and eggs served with fresh salsa, and it's served all day. La Palapa has daily lunch specials, all served with rice and beans, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Try a torta, breaded chicken, steak, chorizo, or ham served with mayo, avocado, lettuce, tomato, and jalapenos, all in a hoagie. Plus amazing soups and dinner entrees, all at La Palapa, 5255 Summer Avenue. La Palapa, the little hut with big taste.
It doesn't matter if you're at the lake, if you're hunting, fishing, playing golf, or just playing around, Scooters Plus can hook you up with the mobility that you need. Scooters Plus has the largest vehicle and parts inventory in the Mid-South and the best service department. You can choose from ATVs, UTVs, golf carts, motorcycles, dirt bikes, trikes, scooters, and even electric bikes. Come in today to start or wrap up your holiday shopping with 25% down on Christmas layaways. Scooters Plus, 3425 Summer Avenue. Call Sam at 458-8843 or go online to scootersplus.us.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roof Services. If you need a new roof for your home or business, we hope to hear from you and will work hard to earn your business. We are experts and certified in residential and commercial roofing, siding, and gutter installation. I have been serving the Memphis area for over 20 years, and now with two of my sons working with me, we plan to be here for years to come. So if you need a roof, please give us a call. On a personal note, what a great time it is to be a Memphis sports fan. With the Grizzlies and the Redbirds and 901 FC, not to mention Tigers football and basketball, it's going to be a fun year. Thanks to Coach Silverfield and Coach Hardaway and their staffs for their dedication to the student and athletes, the University of Memphis, the City of Memphis, and us fans. Five Ash Roof Services, a proud partner of the Memphis Tigers and the official roofer of the Tigers home team. Five Ash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or MemphisRoofer.com. 367-0050 or MemphisRoofer.com.
Five Ash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
All 36-month lease, $650 acquisition fee. Must finance through Hyundai. Forte LXS PE 694,095, MSRP 21,610. Sportage R722 7239, MSRP 28,715. EVP 560 3393, MSRP 50,200. Includes all rebates and incentives. Excludes tax title and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 11/30/2023 with approved credit dealer stock only.
Got Jeff Allen here from Gossett Kia South Mount Moriah. Hey Jeff, you ready for the holidays with the season of giving back?
I'm ready to give out some great holiday gifts and save you some big bucks. Perfect for the holiday road trips. 41 MPG Highway in a new 2023 Kia Forte LXS $229 a month. $27.99 due at signing. Or a big family that needs more room? 2024 Kia Sportage LX with class-leading cargo room and rear seat leg room. $299 a month. $34.99 due at signing.
What about an EV?
2023 Kia EV6 Wind 134 City 101 Highway MPGE $379 a month. $49.99 due at signing. All 36-month lease.
Plus a free charger with your EV purchase and Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty.
The way they live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, you'll be happy at Gossett Kia on Mount Moriah.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers.
To reveal the full spectrum of its dazzling color.
Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
I've got to say, Zach, and I've said this before, the rejoin music on this show, top tier. It's good stuff. You're not a fan of the rejoin music?
There's only a couple of songs that I've never heard.
There's some that I've never heard, but I'm like, man,
I've heard of this song.
Nirvana, right?
Yeah, I've heard of it. It's not like the go-to, but I've heard of it.
No, I mean, it's not the go-to for me either, but it gets me in a good mood in the mornings, when I'm listening. I'm like, okay, I can get down with this.
It just depends on how I'm feeling.
Yeah, no, I feel that.
It just depends on how I'm feeling.
But I'm listening to Christmas music now, so, it's Christmas season. I was listening to Christmas on the way here, a little Nat King Cole on the way in this morning. Oh, gets me in the Christmas spirit. But Brian Dacus, Zach Boyd in this morning for Greg and Eli. We've been talking Grizzlies. And Zach, today, a tough one for the Grizzlies as they've got the Phoenix Suns, a Phoenix Suns team that really... I guess not in the same boat as the Grizzlies in terms of all of the injuries, but their stars have not been healthy this year. Bradley Beal's been dealing with a back injury. I think KD's been mostly healthy this year. Devin Booker has been out for a couple games with injury. So they've kind of, had some injuries. But I saw somewhere yesterday that it looks like everybody will play today for the Suns, by the way. But I saw the other day that, I guess I saw this last night. In the past 5 games, Kevin Durant is averaging 38 points. He's been unbelievable lately.
No, that's true.
That's love
true,
Kevin
because I'm looking at it. 31, 38, 39, 31, 32.
Good Lord.
Yeah.
I'm seeing his stats right now, and on the season, he's shooting 53% from the field. That's incredible.
Hey, man.
I mean, he's an unbelievable player, but that is really impressive. 52% from three. He's had a really good season, and in his last 10 games, 33.4 points, 7.2 rebounds, 6.2 assists, shooting 58.3% from three, 53.1% from the field, and 95% from the free throw line. So as good as it gets from Kevin Durant right now. And he's playing at the top of his game. What do you think about today? Do the Grizzlies would this be their first in-season tournament win, or have they won a game in the in-season
tournament?
No,
they have not won a game.
So this could be their first one today at home on the gray court.
And hopefully the first home win on top of that.
Oh my gosh, they still haven't gotten a home win. I forgot about that.
So, I mean, it's possible.
Can we just play all our games on the road?
I think the Suns done a really good job of retooling this roster after trading away Chris Paul and DeAndre Ayton. And getting Kevin Durant in the process. Yeah. That took a lot out. That took a lot. So I think they've done a really good job of retooling this roster. Now the question is, because this is a jump shooting team. Whether you want to look at it, this is a jump shooting team. Eric Gordon,
bring it
really
up.
good 3-point shooter. Yuta Watanabe was leading the league in 3-point percentage.
How about Yuta? His development. since leaving the Grizzlies has been like unbelievable. I mean, when he was with the Grizzlies, I did not expect him to be like a role player in the NBA.
Yeah, no, like he had the opportunity.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't like anything was broken.
No.
It's just he just needed time.
Yeah.
And reps.
And the Grizzlies
he
just didn't
obviously
have that
being
time.
a two-way guy, they were gonna put a lot of stock
Exactly.
into it. But you could, during his time with the Grizzlies, you could kind of see, some flashes here and there. It just wasn't as packaged and consistent.
Yeah.
More so you like.
So the Suns have won 5 games in a row. And you mentioned they're a jump shooting team, and you've made this point to me, and we've kind of talked about it a couple times. The going under screens and just like leaving guys wide open behind the 3-point line.
Yeah, that's not a good idea.
It's really killed the Grizzlies, and that could be a killer today.
Yeah, and you got Grayson Allen coming back with the Suns.
Yep.
So, they have shooters. So if you leave any one of them open, they're gonna knock it down, and that's the last thing you want to do is being in a scoring battle with the Phoenix Suns when you have three of the top 15 scorers in the league right now, and you're right now at a deficit.
Yeah, no. So I mean, they're certainly. It's going to be an uphill battle for the Grizzlies, but like you said earlier, I mean, this team has really fought and has been in a lot of games that they really shouldn't have been in, going back to that Celtics game the other night, right there in that game. So hopefully it's a good game. Right now, Phoenix a 7.5-point favorite in the afternoon game. Like I said, this game at 4 o'clock on NBA TV, but a lot of games today with the NBA taking off yesterday. At 1:30, Celtics Magic. That game's on NBA TV right before Suns Grizzlies. Heat Knicks tonight on ESPN. Bulls Raptors. Pistons Pacers. Nuggets Rockets. Wizards Bucks. Kings T-Wolves, late night game on ESPN, Spurs Warriors, and then to finish off the day, Pelicans Clippers. So a really nice day of games in the NBA, and it should be a lot of fun to watch and really kind of kick off the evening and night with that Grizzlies game against the Suns. Hopefully it's a good crowd on the day after Thanksgiving. But we need to wrap up this hour and get to a break. When we come back, we'll talk a little bit about the Tigers. They've got a game today against Temple. And reminder, Greg Gaston, he'll join us at 9:30 to talk about this Tiger team and their game against Temple. We'll be back on the other side.
Hi folks, Bob Burkheimer, Sunrise Buick GMC Truck. Thinking about a new car or truck and not sure where to get the most for your money? Listen to what Sunrise has to offer. Over 800 new Buicks and GMCs to choose from with their factory rebates and $15 million used car inventory, specializing in vehicles under $15,000. Bad credit, bankrupt, slow pay, it's okay. At Sunrise, we specialize in secondary financing, and Sunrise wants to get you financed. Apply online at sunrisememphis.com, the #1 volume Buick and GMC dealer in the Mid-South. Sunrise, Covington Pike, Wolf Chase, and Collierville.
How long has it been since you heard the term being overstocked? Well, it's happened at Family Leisure. Yep. That means you get the savings, like select patio sets that are up to 50% off. If you need a play gym, you're in luck because they're also overstocked and start at under $2,000. Pool tables and game room items up to $700 off of in-stock items. Saunas, massage chairs, arcades, even theater seating. Special financing is available with free delivery. Family Leisure is extending sale pricing on all in-stock hot tubs and swim spas. And if you need supplies to close up your pool for the winter, Family Leisure has them up to 30% off. It's been a while since you've heard of an overstock sale, but Family Leisure is right in the middle of one. Huge deals and a huge overstocked inventory. That means great savings for you. It's happening now at Family Leisure, Whitten Road at I-40, where family and fun come together.
Tease the season at Edwin Watts Golf Shops by Worldwide Golf for holiday specials this year. Featuring the Callaway Paradigm Woods, forged carbon for unparalleled distance and forgiveness. Now up to $100 off. And from Bushnell, the new Tour V6 Series laser rangefinders provide you the most accurate distances in golf. There's always gift cards in any amount for the special golfer you're shopping for. Edwin Watts Golf Shops is home with a 90-day satisfaction guarantee. Shop us in store or online at worldwidegolf.com.
Yo, Mark, long time no see. You still down at Dyer's?
Man, I'm not down at Dyer's. I'm out at Collierville Historic Town Square.
When'd you move out there?
We've been out there for about 13 years. We've got the shops, the park, we got the train the kids like to play on.
You still cooking those burgers the old-fashioned way?
Man, we're still flattening out those hamburger balls on a slab of marble and skillet frying them the old-fashioned way like they've been doing for 100 years.
Dude, you still have those onion rings.
Man, they're fantastic. Hand-breaded, served up just right.
I loved those milkshakes. Please tell me you're still doing those.
Man, we are hand-dipping those shakes, putting them in the old glass in the shake tin, served the old-fashioned way.
You got any new items out there I need to know about?
We're just doing a lot of gourmet sandwiches. We've got farm-raised catfish straight out of the Delta. We've got some hot tamales from Pasquale's Tamales out of Helena, Arkansas.
Man, are they served in the husk?
What those guys like to say, they're so good, you'll suck the shuck.
Go see my buddy Mark at Dyer's Cafe in Collierville's historic town square.
Memphis music legends, the Bar-Kays, will be at this year's AutoZone Liberty Bowl, and you'll want to be there too. The Bar-Kays will be performing the music that made Memphis at the President's Gala on December 28th at the Peabody, and at halftime of the 65th AutoZone Liberty Bowl game on December 29th.
Everybody say, so big up.
Get your tickets today by calling the AutoZone Liberty Bowl at 795-7700. The Tennessee Highway Safety Office reminds you that fans don't let fans drive drunk.
Ole Miss Rebel Yell is back. The Rebel Yell Hotline Radio Show is back on WHBQ Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Every Monday night at 6, hear the latest news on your Ole Miss Rebels with Yancey Porter with 24/7 Sports, former Ole Miss defensive tackle Mike Fitzsimmons, Gordon Ford covering SEC Sports Call, and former Ole Miss baseball announcer Gary Darby. From kickoff to free throw to extra innings, your Ole Miss Sports on the Rebel Yell Hotline Show right here Monday night at 6 on Sports 56, 560 AM and 98.5 FM. Your Mid-South Sports Station.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations.
Sports 56 traffic.
Traffic still moving right now out here on all the major inbound routes. It still looks good on Billmore's Parkway 385 coming in from Collierville. Plenty of radar has been on and off this morning up and down I-40 in parts of Fayette County. I-40 looks good coming across the bridge eastbound here over from West Memphis. Hey, Weimer's Jewelry is gearing up for the holiday season. Go by and see them this weekend and shop local at Weimer's Jewelry, 7525 Highway 64. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Now back to Sports 56 mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Acura of Memphis.
Witness the power.
Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Welcome back into Sports 56 mornings as we start our 9 o'clock hour. Bryant Dacus, Zach Boyd in for Greg and Eli as they're both off today. Greg Gaston actually in Philadelphia for Memphis versus Temple. That game kicks off in less than 2 hours. We're about 2 hours away from game time, and Greg will join us in about 30 minutes to talk about the Tigers and Temple. Like I said, he's at that game on the sidelines for the radio broadcast, so we'll preview that game in about 30 minutes. We're going to talk NFL here. Because we had 3 NFL games yesterday, and we haven't had a chance to really talk about any of them. We also have a game today at 2 o'clock, Dolphins at Jets, the first ever NFL Black Friday game this afternoon. We're going to have complete coverage of that game, pregame starting at 1:30 between the Dolphins and Jets. We'll have that entire game. Tomorrow, Ohio State at Michigan, a massive game. We're going to have that game at 11 a.m. On this station. Then Sunday, Steelers at Bengals at noon, Chiefs at Raiders at 3, Ravens at Chargers, the Sunday night football game. And then Monday, I know we'll all be back on Monday to talk about it, but Bears at Vikings, 7 p.m. on Monday. So we've got complete coverage of all of the football action over the weekend. So keep it tuned in to Sports 56. Zach, before we talk NFL, I've got some breaking news. This dropped about an hour ago. I'm sure a lot of people have seen it, but because of the show, I'm just now seeing it. But reports are coming out. Matt Zenitz, I hope I didn't mispronounce his name. He's a national college football reporter for 247. He is reporting that Mississippi State quarterback Will Rogers is expected to enter the transfer portal. His sources are telling 247. He ranks number 2 in SEC history with 12,315 career passing yards and 4th with 94 career passing touchdowns. I'm guessing a grad transfer that will have one more year of eligibility. He's going to transfer with all of the uncertainty at head coach. He's going to enter the transfer portal, and I can only imagine a ton of teams that will be going after him to be their starting quarterback.
Yeah, like he's a really good quarterback, man. I think, especially in his age. Again, like Sam Hartman to Notre Dame, Michael Penix to Washington. Like if you get a good quarterback and give them some weapons, you can make some noise.
Well, and I mean, you look at Sam Howell. Good Lord, Sam Howell. We're going to talk about Sam Howell in
Devin
a minute.
Leary?
Devin Leary's another one. I mean, it works for some. It doesn't work for others. Devin Leary, I have not been really impressed with. Sam Hartman was going to be the one I was talking about, the quarterback for now Notre Dame. Sam Hartman has been good this year. I don't think he's been great, but you talk about Michael Penix, who transferred from Indiana to Washington. Now it's taken him a couple years, but he's right there in the Heisman mix. And I think age matters. I think experience matters. And for Will Rogers, who I just read it off. One of the most prolific passers in SEC history, if you're just looking at stats, entering the portal. I'm sure he'll have a lot of suitors, especially with all of that experience. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. It'll be interesting to see if what teams call. If he lands at another SEC team, does he land at a Pac-12 team? Does he Big 12? I mean, where does he go in terms of the transfer portal? So it'll be fun to watch, and it will be interesting to see. But Will Rogers in the transfer portal, or at least is expected to hit the transfer portal with another year of eligibility. But Zach, we do need to talk NFL. It was a big day in the NFL yesterday, Thanksgiving Day, kind of not maybe kind or anything. It is a tradition, a staple of Thanksgiving Day is NFL games, and we had a triple header yesterday, and it started off in Detroit with the Packers and the Lions, and this game did not pan out like I thought it would. I mean, I think a lot of people expected the Lions to, I don't want to say dominate, but at least win that game and be very competitive in that game, and it was all Packers early.
You know what's funny about this?
What's that?
I had a feeling that they were going to lose on Thanksgiving Day.
Well, and I saw this on Twitter, and I don't know if I can find it now, but the moon last night was a waxing gibbous, I think.
What does that mean?
Well, Zach, you learned your moons in elementary school, right? Waning and waxing, wax on, wane off, the different types of moons. Last night was a waxing gibbous. And
so that's why they got waxed last night?
I like that. If you go back to all the Thanksgiving days that the Lions have played on where there has been a waxing gibbous moon, according to this Twitter post that kind of circulated on Twitter yesterday, I guess I should say, going back to 1966, there has been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yesterday was the 13th time, supposedly, we have played with a waxing gibbous, or at least a waxing gibbous the night of, for the Lions, and all of them have been losses. How about that?
And got waxed in each one of them.
Got waxed in all of them. But I don't know my moons very well. These don't all look like waxing gibbuses. But
what's the half full one? Is that the same thing?
Zach, it's been a long time.
Yeah,
since
I know it is. That's why I'm asking.
In elementary school, I have no idea. But if they were all waxing gibbuses, how about that? All I know is the Lions lost, and they did not look very competitive yesterday. A team that really seemed like they were turning a corner a couple weeks ago, and were playing much better. And, after a couple early season losses, looked like they were getting back after it. And the Packers, a couple turnovers, they get the ball back in, plus territory and really kind of took advantage of the Lions, which I was surprised of. And Jordan Love, I thought, a really impressive game on Thanksgiving.
Yeah, kept it clean for the most part.
Yeah.
Moved the ball very well. Got to the hands of their playmakers.
Yeah.
It helps. It helps when you're able to have a pretty decent pocket and you can actually move the offense around. Now, on the other end, that Packers defense, I was not expecting them to step up the way they did and slow down the Lions.
No, not at all. 3 fumble recoveries for Green Bay. Jared Goff fumbled the ball 3 times, and they lost it all 3 times. And Green Bay's defense was just flying around, and I didn't expect that early from them. I mean, this Green Bay team, 5-6, has been kind of disappointing. Jordan Love, I don't think has played up to a ton of people's expectations this year. And tough situation to be in, but I thought he looked good yesterday, 268 yards, 3 touchdowns, but a good point by you, very clean. 0 sacks by the Detroit defense, this Detroit defense that we've been talking a lot about for a really long time, and really couldn't get anything going yesterday.
Yeah, man, like for a team, and I know the Lions, they just got they're coming off of a win against the Bears. Well, first of all, they got into a scrap heap with the Bears last week.
Yeah, they did.
So that was obviously wasn't a good sign.
31-26 win over the Bears, yeah.
Yeah. So, but you kind of, you thought that, okay, quick turnaround type of thing, keep the momentum going. Let's go ahead, take care of business, blow this team out. But they just kept them lingering, and that's the problem.
Well, and that's a really good point by you, Zach, because you look at who the Lions have beaten this year. And obviously, first game of the season, beat the Chiefs. That is a huge win. I mean, that's massive. That's a win against a really good team. But you look at the rest of their wins. Is Falcons scaring anybody? I mean, they haven't impressed me this season. And kept it close. They beat the Packers earlier this season when the Packers were, just kind of, Jordan Love's in his, third game of the season and trying to figure things out. The Panthers have been awful this year. The Buccaneers haven't been anything to call home about.
They kept it close.
The Raiders.
It's a close game.
The Chargers.
Definitely a close game.
A very close game. And then the Bears was an extremely close game.
Because they were down 10 with 4 minutes to go.
And had to come back. So I don't think any of those teams that I just listed off are world beaters by any means. I think a lot of people disappointed in what the Chargers have done this year. I'll give it to them. Chiefs, a huge win, but I just haven't been impressed with any of these wins. I mean, they're wins. It's the National Football League. Anybody can win on any given day. I'm not saying that oh man, they're beating Toledo out here, but who are they beating? For all the hype this team's getting, I don't know if the wins have reflected that.
Well, then again, I will say they're playing a pretty easy schedule, and so they're playing the competition that's in front of them. Now, it kind of helps that their division sucks.
Their first...
A little bit, half of the division sucks, but again, you dropped a game to the Packers. You could have probably needed that one the most.
Really needed
that one.
But,
their next 6 games to close the season, Saints,
easy.
Bears, Broncos, Vikings, Cowboys, Vikings.
Yeah, I mean that's not a murderous schedule by any means. But I mean, you look at their 2 losses prior to the Packers. Their first home game of the season, a loss against the Seahawks that I think went into overtime, if I recall. And then their second loss, they got blown out by the Ravens. I mean, I get it. This, first off, I shouldn't be this disrespectful to the Lions because this Lions team is nowhere close to being a finished product. They've still got young guys that are still trying to develop, still trying to grow. I get that. And, this is a really good season for the Lions. But for all the hype they've been getting, this team doesn't scare me that much.
No. And, again, this is a well-coached team.
Yeah.
You kind of expect that. They run the ball very effectively with Montgomery and with Gibbs.
Yeah.
Offensively, passing attack, you can get, they're very efficient getting the ball down the field.
Yeah.
Skilled playmakers, but it's just all about finishing and all about can they raise their level to another, take their, take that jump to that next level. Again, I think Jared Goff is playing really well.
Playing really well. Really well. A really good season for him.
Yeah.
And obviously, I think yesterday was his worst game by far with those 3 fumbles.
I agree. That's either you're looking at this Lions team as, okay, Jared Goff is your quarterback, or you're looking at it as we need to continue to add more talent to this team.
Yeah. And you're right about that.
I'm not sure where I fall because I think the Lions are good.
Oh yeah.
But then again, if you have an elite quarterback, managing or running this team, that could be Super Bowl contenders.
Oh
so
yeah. You're right about that.
That's kind of where it is. I think they're very good, but then we just don't know how good they are until they play someone better. And obviously the best game for them is probably the Cowboys towards the end, and maybe one of the division games against the Vikings.
Sure. No, but I mean, tough loss for them. I mean, I think that's a game that a lot of people expected them to win. They were more than a touchdown favorite over the Packers. But again, it's the NFL and anybody can win on any given day. The second game of the day, the Dallas Cowboys, a really convincing win over the Washington Commanders. 45-10 win over the Commanders. Sam Howell, 28 for 44 for 300 yards. Not a bad game for him, but no touchdowns, 1 interception, and 4 sacks. Was sacked 4 times. That 1 interception to Deron Bland, who has been unbelievable. A pick 6, his 5th pick 6 of the season. I saw this on ESPN about an hour ago, 30 minutes ago. They flashed it up. He has more touchdowns this season. Stay with me. Deron Bland, a cornerback, has more touchdowns this season than his teammate Tony Pollard, the starting running back for the Cowboys, than Travis Kelce, the starting tight end for and maybe one of the most famous men in America right now because of what he's done on the field and his romantic life. Devontae Adams, DK Metcalf, I'm sure a lot other, but there was one other key name they had on there that I can't remember. But I mean, that's incredible. And what he's done, it seems like I don't know why people are still throwing it to him because he's going to get an interception and he's going to take it back for 6.
Yeah, what? He has 6 interceptions this year, 7 interceptions.
Yeah,
and
5 of them have been pick 6s.
Yeah, like the other 5 are pick 6s. like at some point the quarterbacks in the league that's on the rest on the Cowboys schedule, they're gonna have to come together and say, you know what's a good idea and what not to do to win the game? Let's not throw to Deron.
Yeah, maybe we don't throw to that side.
Let's not throw it.
7 interceptions this season, 5 pick 6s.
He has 5 pick 6s.
It's incredible. And so, that was obviously the big story. And one thing that you can always, tell, this is a massive story, is not only that's the first time it's ever happened in NFL history, but in press conferences, whenever you're talking to a running back or a quarterback and a reporter asks about a cornerback, that's when you know, okay, this is different. This is a different story because both Tony Pollard and Dak Prescott were asked about, hey, Deron Bland, what have you thought about what he's done lately? I mean, this is incredible. And both of them were like, it's amazing. I don't understand it. And Dak literally said, I don't know why teams throw to his side. I don't know what goes into the mindset of a quarterback that's I'll throw at the receiver that Deron Bland's covering because it's not going to work out most times.
We just got a text from the text line. They said,
stop talking about the
Cowboys have played 2 winning teams.
Hey,
2 winning records, and that's Philly and San Fran.
Whoa.
I mean, they're not wrong, but it's not the Cowboys' fault that the Giants were supposed to be good and they're not good.
Hey.
It's not their fault.
Hey, Eagles, play a game without running the tush push. See how you do in that game. I'm not a fan of the play. And I'm only not a fan of the play because I'm a Cowboys fan.
Weeks on Sunday Night Football.
We had a caller call in a couple weeks ago, and thank you for the text. It was a good time. I mean, it's a good point. It's a good point. And
it's a good point.
They lost both those games. I can't say anything about it.
Wrong.
That's factual. What does it matter at the end of the day if the Cowboys are blowing out the Giants, the Commanders, and who was the other team they blew out a couple weeks ago?
The Jets, the Rams, the Panthers.
The Panthers, that's what it was last week. What does it matter if they're blowing out these teams? That's great point. Great point. I can't argue with it. We had a caller a couple weeks ago. I think it was me and John talking, and we were talking about the tush push. And first off, I don't like the name tush push. I think they call it the brotherly shove, which I don't know if I like that any more than I like the tush push. I think both of them are ridiculous names. But we were talking about it, and John was like, yeah. And I was like, it's a ridiculous play. I mean, any team that can start a drive 1st and 9, 1st and 8, it's ridiculous. I mean, try to play the game without running that play, and the Eagles have 4 losses on the season, easily. And someone called and was like, I think the tush push is a really good play. And I'd tell him, I was like, I'm just salty because I'm a Cowboys fan. Like, that's what it all boils down to. If I was not a Cowboys fan, if I was like a Seahawks fan or like a 49ers fan, I'd be like, cool, it's a cool play. You know, do your thing. Maybe not if I was a 49ers fan, but like, be like, that's cool, whatever. But it's just because I'm a Cowboys fan that I'm just salty in fandom.
No, it's a good play because when they first initiated, I was like, oh, yeah, no, that's actually kind of smart now that you're thinking about it.
I mean, it's just straight up old school football. You know, just pack everybody in and just run it up the middle.
Yeah.
I mean, that's all it is. And it works. Teams can't stop it. They have so many big guys. You have Jalen Hurts back there that, squatted like 700 pounds in college. I mean, like, guy's got some massive legs. I mean, he's got tree trunks, and so, I mean, he's just pushing forward. You got a couple guys behind him pushing. Who's going to stop that?
And then they did a little variation of it. I think they played the Lions, I think. And they did I want to say they played the Lions. That game was against the Lions. Or it was the Dolphins.
I'll take your
word
word for it.
And, like they handed off to DeAndre Swift in that push, the brotherly shove formation, they got a touchdown out of.
I mean, hey, whatever. If it works, it works. Good for them. That's a really good team. And, they've got some really good weapons on their team, and they make it work. So, good for them. I was really impressed with what Dak did yesterday. I mean, you look at it, 22 for 32, 331 yards, 4 touchdowns. That offensive line, I mean, I get it. You're playing a 4-win Washington Commanders team, but was not sacked at all in that game. 0 sacks from Dak Prescott, which I thought was huge. This run game, you rush for 100 yards, but only 79 yards for Tony Pollard, which is a good day. 1 touchdown for him. I think it's good finding the end zone again because it was so long that he could not find the end zone. But I thought a really good game from the Cowboys, a 45-10 win, and I have had trouble kind of buying into these massive wins by the Cowboys in the NFL because, like I said a minute ago about the Lions and the Packers, I mean, it's the NFL. Anybody can beat anybody on any given day in the NFL, and so it's hard for me to be like, oh yeah, I think they were like a 11.5 point favorite. Oh yeah, the Cowboys are going to cover 11.5 because
easy.
I mean, it's just it's hard to do in the NFL, but they were able to do it yesterday. Final game of the day that I want to talk about real quick before we get to a break and talk to Greg Gaston. 49ers 31-13 win over the Seahawks. Seahawks kind of in the same boat as the Lions. They have. I think they're a good team. I enjoy watching them play, but like you look at who they've played and who they've lost to and then who they've beaten, it's like very clearly 2 different like types of teams. Like it's teams that are really good and teams that are not so good. I mean, let's look at their wins. They beat the Lions, which is, I think, a good win. That was early in the season, 2nd game of the year. They beat the Panthers. We've already talked about the Panthers. The Giants. We know the Giants are no good. The Cardinals, who have struggled this year. The Browns. They beat the Browns. I think that was when the Browns were still playing a backup before they got healthy and now we're not healthy again. And the Commanders. Those are their 6 wins this year. And those are against a lot of teams that have really struggled this year, teams that are under 500. And then the losses, yesterday they lost to the 49ers. They lost to the Rams the game before that. They got blown out by the Ravens 37-3. They lost to the Bengals, which was a close game. And they lost to the Rams. So, like, again, Seahawks, kind of an interesting team, a weird team, but a big win for the 49ers last night. I wasn't able to watch a ton of that game. I was kind of going back between that and the Egg Bowl, so I didn't watch a ton of it. But Christian McCaffrey, what he has done is unbelievable. I mean, we had that really long stretch of like 2 years where Christian McCaffrey had a touchdown in every single game. And last night, 114 yards and 2 touchdowns. I mean, that's as good as it gets. I mean, it's hard to stop him. He runs really hard and has really impressed. We got another text message from the texter that said the Cowboys have played 2 teams with winning records. He said, I'm a Cowboys fan, but the Lions have a better win. No, you're right about that. They definitely have a better win on the season.
The Chiefs is the better win.
That's a huge win for the Chiefs. You're absolutely right. And then his last text, bottom line is about half the league is mediocre. That's why it's fun to watch. I love he pointed that out.
Yes.
Because that's a great point. Zach, do you know last week, and you might have heard me say this last week, on Sunday, just Sunday games, so not Thursday. We had a great Thursday night football game last week. We had a great a great Monday night football game last week. On just Sunday, do you know how many teams played where both teams, not just one team, where both teams entered the day, both teams above 500?
Come on, last week?
Last week. Out of all the games on Sunday, you've got, 6 games going in the first window, 4 games going in the second window, Sunday night football. Most everybody in the league's playing. Out of all of the games that happened on Sunday, how many games did both teams enter the day above 500?
There's like 10 of them, right?
10 teams above 500?
No, that both. Well, no. I'm talking about it's 10 games.
10 games where both teams were above 500?
But they're not 500.
No. I'm saying they're above 500.
Above.
So they're playing winning football right now.
Oh, like let's cut that in like a third. So I'm gonna say 3.
1. One game, both teams were above 500 on Sunday. Now that's excluding Ravens and Bengals. That was on Thursday night. That's excluding Chiefs and Eagles. That was on Monday night.
Right.
And do you know what game that was?
Was what game was it?
The Browns and the Steelers were both over 500 on Sunday. That was the only game where both teams entered the day playing over 500. So I mean, there's a lot of a lot of parity in this league. I mean, it's a lot of teams are very evenly matched. A lot of teams, like I said, I've said it 3 times now. Any team can win on any given day, and that's why a lot of teams are 500, under 500, and kind of mediocre.
And to add to this, to that Texas point, quarterback play plays a big part of it. Right now, we've played how many rookie quarterbacks this year? 5 or 6?
Oh no, way more than that. Like 10 or 11.
It's been 11.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
it's like the
that's
most
the reason
ever.
Why.
It's incredible. So I mean, you're right. It's been an interesting year, and I think there's going to be a lot of teams that are going to be wanting to be high in the draft so they can get a guy like Caleb Williams to add to their roster and make their starting quarterback. But thanks again for all the texts. Keep sending those in, 901-360-8255. Whatever you want to talk about. Grizzlies, Tigers. We're going to talk to Greg Gaston on the other side. So let's go ahead and get to a break. When we come back, we'll preview Memphis football, big game today at 11 against Temple.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Spencer here with ATC Fitness. There's no better time of the year than now. Football and fitness go hand in hand in the fall. And with individual screens on each piece of cardio and multiple big screens throughout the rest of the club, you'll never miss a bit of the action watching your favorite team. ATC Fitness continues to be the Mid-South's choice for fitness, family-owned for 30 years, and proud supporters of Coach Silverfield and the Memphis Tigers. Join online at atcfitness.com. ATC Fitness, exercise your right to look good.
5-Ash Roofing, it's what we do. Roofing and siding, gutters too. We're the pros you can trust to get it done right. Call on us, 5-Ash Roofing, the name to know. 5-Ash Roofing, the only way to go. 5-Ash Roofing, it's what we do. 5-Ash Roofing.
Is that not the corniest thing you've ever heard? Can you believe I paid good money for that silly jingle? Well, the experts say make it memorable, and I think I got my money's worth. 5-Ash Roof Services, proud partner of the Memphis Tigers and the official roofer of the Tigers home team. 5-Ash Roofing, 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
5-Ash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
A 3-carat lab-grown diamond for just $599? A 2-carat lab-grown for only $299? A 1-carat lab-grown diamond for just $99? It's not a mistake. It's Genesis Diamond's unbelievable lab-grown Black Friday sale. That's right. This weekend, Genesis is offering deals absolutely no one can touch. So you can put the ring of her dreams on her finger and get the deal of your dreams at the same time. Other stores are charging $10,000 for 3-carat lab-grown diamonds. But at Genesis, it's just $599. Their 2-carat lab-grown diamonds are over $4,000, but the Genesis price is just $299. And their 1-carat lab-growns are $1,500, but you can get a 1-carat lab-grown at Genesis for just $99. This offer is not too good to be true, but it is limited to the first 150 customers with the purchase of one of Genesis' exclusive settings. Imagine proposing to the love of your life with a stunning 3-carat certified lab-grown diamond, any shape, showcased in a one-of-a-kind setting. Don't miss Genesis Diamond's lab-grown Black Friday event this weekend, including Sunday, on Poplar at Perkins Extended. See store for details.
You or someone you know or care about has dealt with a difficult divorce. When facing divorce, you need the attorneys at Rice Law. Nick and Larry Rice lead the firm with 3 generations and 7 decades of experience. Located in Memphis, serving the entire state of Tennessee and North Mississippi. Rice Law is who you need to call. Simple or difficult divorce, they know how to handle it. Call Rice Law at 901-526-6701, or for more information, visit them at aboutdivorce.com. That's aboutdivorce.com.
It doesn't matter if you're at the lake, if you're hunting, fishing, playing golf, or just playing around, Scooters Plus can hook you up with the mobility that you need. Scooters Plus has the largest vehicle and parts inventory in the Mid-South and the best service department. You can choose from ATVs, UTVs, golf carts, motorcycles, dirt bikes, trikes, scooters, and even electric bikes. Come in today to start or wrap up your holiday shopping with 25% down on Christmas layaways. Scooters Plus, 3425 Summer Avenue. Call Sam at 458-8843 or go online to scootersplus.us. Listen each and every Sunday morning at 10 a.m. and join Idlewild Presbyterian Church for worship. Idlewild is a PCUSA church located in Midtown Memphis.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Acura of Memphis.
Okay, this car looks great wrapped around you,
Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Welcome back in. Bryant Dacus, Zach Boyd in for Greg and Eli on this Friday morning, Sports 56 Mornings. And joining us now, Greg Gaston, the host of this show, joining us from Philadelphia as Memphis and Temple, about an hour and a half, a little less than an hour and a half away from kickoff in that 11 a.m. kickoff. Greg, thanks so much for joining us. An early start for the Tigers. They've had a couple of these this season, but coming off of that loss to SMU last week, a very hard-fought loss for the Tigers, what do you expect their energy level? How do you expect them to come out early in this game against Temple?
Yeah, first of all, good morning, gentlemen, and happy belated Thanksgiving to both you and Zach, and thanks for having me on. Yes, I think the key will be the beginning of this game. We'll see if the Tigers are in a funk, if there's a hangover from the loss, or are they eager and ready to go to try to do something that's only happened 9 times in their 108-year history, and that's to win 9 games with a chance to obviously win 10 if they could take care of business today and win a bowl game. But according to the coaches, they say that there's been no letdown in practice. They feel very good about the team's morale going into this game, but it's got to be a little bit tough. There's no question about it. First of all, they're playing in Philly, where they have struggled in Philadelphia. They've lost their last 3 games against the Temple Owls. And what's interesting is Temple, which is just 3-8, you would think that they've already cashed it in for the year. But over their last 8 years, they are 6-2 in their final game of the season. For whatever the reason is, Temple plays really, really hard in that last game, and you got to think some of these players are probably looking to put together a nice little tape for the transfer portal. Maybe there's a few others that are hoping to get to the NFL. They want the tape to look good. And nothing like beating a Memphis team, which is certainly one of the bell cows of the conference. So to answer your question, we'll find out early if Memphis is in a funk, is in a hangover state of mind when they kick this game, when they kick this game off at 11:03 Central Time.
Well, and on the other side for Temple, you just kind of mentioned their team, how good they've played in the last game of the season. And some of these guys wanting to get more tape, and their quarterback. They've got a really good quarterback, E.J. Warner, the son of Kurt Warner. We saw him last year when Temple came to Memphis, and he's having a pretty good season this year for Temple. What do you expect the defense will see today from E.J. Warner?
Yeah, he's a very accurate passer. He's not a big guy, but following in his footsteps of his Hall of Fame father, he gets the ball out of his hands quickly. He doesn't have a great offensive line, so he can't hold on to the ball. So he goes through his progressions really quick. Usually he's very good in not staring down the first read and will move off to a second read, but he does it really, really quickly, and that's why he's so effective. His completion ratio is tremendous. And when he's played, he hasn't played all these games. He's had injuries. When he has played, they've looked pretty good. Yeah. The last 2 weeks, they had 2 road games. And he played, and they lost 27-23 at South Florida and lost 34-24 at UAB. They were in both those games. So E.J. Warner gives them a chance to be in games.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. From a injury standpoint for the Tigers, this team has been pretty banged up all year. We know kind of the injury to Seth Hennigan. He's been playing through that. Has kind of shown his toughness the last couple of weeks, not being at 100%. But what does this team look like from an injury standpoint going into this morning?
Yeah, they're fairly healthy, especially for the final game of the regular season. Michaelan Pounders is not going to go, so they will be missing a starting offensive lineman. They're a little thin in the defensive secondary, but for the most part, they're good. Jonah Gamble returned to the offensive line last week. Coffey came back from injury last week. So from a health-wise, and then, of course, they got last week their running back Thomas back, Brandon Thomas, who got dinged up the game before. So, again, you're going to have your bumps, your bruises, your nicks, and all that for the 12th game of a college football season. But for the most part, pretty healthy going into this final game of the regular season.
Talking Tiger football with Greg Gaston, the host of this show. He's also on the Tiger sidelines for every game, part of the Tiger radio network. Greg, when you look at this defense the past couple of weeks, we just talked about E.J. Warner and the accuracy he brings and kind of brings a weapon to this Temple team. But you look at this Tiger defense and you go back these past couple of weeks. I think back to that Charlotte game where Charlotte's running back, who came out of nowhere, wasn't even on the depth chart, entering the day, runs for over 200 yards. Last week, SMU picks up a ton of yards on the ground. There have been a lot of teams in conference play this season that has really gashed the Tigers' defense with the run game. What has been the biggest issue you've seen from this Tiger defense, and what do you expect from them today against Temple?
I think there's 2 things. They're losing one-on-one battles in the trenches. Their defensive line is getting beat by the offensive linemen of opposing teams very consistently. The other thing is they are getting worn down as the game progresses. That is very evident with what's happened in second halves of games, especially early in the second half, as you talked about gashes. Yeah, we've seen, countless drives where the opponent would go 3 plays and already they're in the red zone, and then a 4th play they're in the end zone. So that's something that has certainly, I know, driven Tigers fans crazy. Now, we have also seen some positives. We saw in that Charlotte game 4 interceptions, 1 a pick 6. We did not see a turnover or a takeaway in the game against SMU, and we knew going in that was going to be imperative for the Tigers to win. They went in as an 8.5 point underdog. They were going to have to turn over SMU. They weren't able to do that. That's when the Memphis defense can really help out this team, is to get a couple of turnovers. It's not easy to get them against a quarterback in Warner who gets the ball out of his hands so quickly. But if they can turn him over a couple of times, then they've done their job. If Memphis' offense can do their job and maybe take Temple out of the game by halftime, you feel pretty good, because at that point, then Temple looks at it and goes, hey, we have 30 minutes left of our season. We're pretty much toast. But Memphis has not been able to get out of the gate quickly. Will that change today? And will they be able to play a complete football game? Ryan Silverfield will be the first to tell you they have not played one complete football game this year.
Yeah, no, you're right about that. Well, being the last regular season game of the season, this Tiger team already bowl eligible, a lot of people looking at what kind of bowl destination the Tigers could be going to. I know y'all have talked to Harold Grader, and there's a real possibility the Tigers could be in the Liberty Bowl, depending on what happens today and tomorrow with these SEC teams. Mississippi State lost yesterday, so they won't be a 6-win team. A couple other teams you're waiting to see, but there's obviously other destinations that could be picked for the Tigers. What are some bowl games you think the Tigers could be in play for?
Right, and I'll say this with a caveat, anything's possible when it comes to bowl season. But the word that I'm hearing from people around the school on the trip here to Philadelphia is Military Bowl, the possibility of the Fenway Bowl, which I didn't think was still a possibility.
Yeah.
And then, as you mentioned, the AutoZone Liberty Bowl game. And that's interesting because Harold Grader, who comes on with us weekly, I know that they have been favoring Auburn. Auburn is bowl eligible. If the SEC doesn't have enough teams to go around, will they give the AutoZone Liberty Bowl an SEC team? Will it be Auburn? The other thing is, I was watching the Egg Bowl last night. Mississippi State, despite losing, they're 5-7, could get in as a 5-win team if there's not enough 6-win teams, bowl-eligible teams, because of their APR. That's a possibility. In fact, Jerry Palm, another weekly guest of ours, shameless plug, he says that in his last couple of weeks' prediction was Mississippi State would get to a bowl game. So if that was the case, then they wouldn't be eligible for the AutoZone Liberty Bowl game because I think there'd be enough teams. The thing is, you're going to get a larger chunk of the money from the AutoZone Liberty Bowl game. It's split around the league, but depending on which bowl you go to, you're going to get a higher chunk. It's not evenly distributed in the American, so you get a bigger chunk being in the AutoZone Liberty Bowl game as opposed to, let's say, the Military Bowl. But then again, if you're a player, is that really where you want to go? Do you want to play in your home stadium, dress in your own locker room? I know if I was a player, I wouldn't want to, but I can't speak for all of that. So that's the three names right now that's kind of going around. I thought maybe the Gasparilla Bowl was a possibility. I think you could pretty much knock out the Hawaii Bowl. They're not going back. They're not going back to Dallas where they were last year. And, the Birmingham Bowl, I hope to God it's not the Birmingham Bowl. As much as I like Birmingham, I hope it's not that. So I think it's those three. At least that's the word right now.
Well, it's certainly interesting. I think still, I think the 14 shy of teams filling all of the bowl games. So, I mean, a lot of intrigue for these last 2 days of the regular season in college football. Last thing for you, Greg, before we let you go. I know we've been talking a lot of football, but I got to ask you about the Tigers basketball team. 2 impressive wins against Michigan, yesterday against Arkansas. They'll play. What a great day for Tiger fans. I've mentioned this already a couple times, but you start the day with Tigers versus Temple, and then right when that game's over, they'll throw it right to the Bahamas for Tigers and Villanova. So a big game today, but what have you seen from this Tiger basketball team these last 2 games down in the battle for Atlantis?
Hey, you're right. It's a big day to showcase the blue and gray. But, yes, I am impressed with what I've seen. I'm not surprised with what I've seen, but I'm impressed. Last night we were having Thanksgiving dinner at the hotel, and we were watching the game, and people were going crazy. David Jones is the real deal. Again, we thought he was going to be when he was playing for the Dominican Republic national team against the Tigers, right, in the DR. So I think they have all the weapons. I want to see Jordan Brown get on track. Right now he's a little bit lagging behind. They're going to need him in games. Today will be a challenge. I was a little surprised Villanova took down North Carolina.
Yeah.
Villanova is always solid. They got some stars. They got some role players. They're always solid. So it's going to be another Memphis versus Philadelphia battle in basketball like it is here in football.
That's a really good point. No, it's going to be a tough one. I mean, those Villanova teams are always very tough and very hard-nosed on the court. So it's going to be a lot of fun, but it's going to be a great day for the Tigers with this kind of doubleheader of football and basketball. But, Greg, thanks so much for joining us. Enjoy the game today in Philadelphia, and we'll see you on Monday.
Yeah, and Brian, thank you for stepping in and helping out Zach. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks, Greg.
Take care.
Greg Gaston, the host of this show, Sports 56 Mornings, joining us from Philadelphia, Memphis, and Temple. Only a little more than an hour away from kickoff for that one, the final regular season game of the season for the Memphis Tigers. Right when that game's over, we'll go down to the Bahamas and watch Tigers and Villanova. So it's going to be a fun day, a busy day for Greg Gaston as he does a lot of ESPN Plus work for Tigers basketball. So I know he's going to be doing this football game and then immediately going to try to catch that Memphis Villanova game. But let's get to our final break of the day, and we'll wrap it up on the other side. This is Sports 56 Mornings.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
When the weather gets better, I found a new place to really soak it in. It's the patio at the Commissary in Collierville. We all love the delicious Memphis-style barbecues. You can begin your barbecue fest with some great appetizers like the cheese plate or the tamales or the barbecue nachos. Oh, those smoked chicken wings, they're terrific too. Then dig into the ribs or the barbecue shoulder. Get it chopped or pulled on a sandwich. A big sandwich, or you can get it on a plate. You've got choice, and you've got choice in places. Don't forget the Germantown Commissary as well. Comes with beans and slaw, deviled eggs they're famous for. And Brad, you can even order by the pound, a 6-pack or an 8-pack or even a 12-pack. The Boss Man salad, the chicken plate, the barbecue shrimp. There's something for everybody, and those great desserts. The best icebox lemon pie anywhere. Or my favorite, the banana pudding. Check out the patio, TVs for sports, and music on the weekends. You love the Commissary.
Tease the season at Edwin Watts Golf Shops by Worldwide Golf for holiday specials this year. Featuring the Titleist T-Series irons, which combine exceptional feel, more consistency, and precise control. And from Bushnell, the new Tour V6 Series laser rangefinders provide you the most accurate distances in golf. There's always gift cards in any amount for the special golfer you're shopping for. Edwin Watts Golf Shops is home of the 90-day satisfaction guarantee. Shop us in store or online at worldwidegolf.com.
Simple, smooth, and every sip as easy as the last. Tito's handmade vodka tastes just as good with tap water as it does with your favorite mixer. Back in the day, Tito distilled, hand-bottled, taste-tested, sent to a few friends, then taste-tested again to give you the finest juice around. No frills, no flavors, no fancy labels, just the good stuff. Just Tito's. For recipes, videos, and more, visit Tito'sVodka.com. Distilled and bottled in Austin, Texas, 40% alcohol by volume, namely 80 proof, crafted to be savored responsibly.
Hey fellas, Bill Russell at Russell Brothers Fine Jewelers, and this year it happened on October 17th. I had my first gentleman ask me what he should get his special lady for Christmas, and my answer was this: get her something she will enjoy and get her something she will absolutely love. Think about her likes and her dislikes. You might even ask her what she wants. Then, come let us show you the finest, most beautiful jewelry in Memphis. This will be our 38th Christmas, and for many of our customers, they've been with us for every one of those 38 years. They come looking for beautiful gifts, fine jewelry that makes a lady's eyes sparkle, but they also know that they will receive quality and service that is unsurpassed in Memphis. And at Russell Brothers, you can play St. Nick knowing that if you don't make the right choice, our money-back guarantee will allow her the ability to exchange her gift for one that she really does love, or she gets your money back. For 5 decades, we've helped thousands of Santas. We'd love to help you. Russell Brothers Jewelers, 4646 Poplar at Perkins.
Yo, Mark, long time no see. You still down at Dyer's?
Man, I'm not down at Dyer's. I'm out at Collierville Historic Town Square.
When'd you move out there?
We've been out there for about 13 years. We've got the shops, the park. We got the train the kids like to play on.
You still cooking those burgers the old-fashioned way?
Man, we're still flattening out those hamburger balls on a slab of marble and skillet frying them the old-fashioned way like they've been doing for 100 years.
Dude, you still have those onion rings.
Man, they're fantastic. Hand-breaded, served up just right.
I loved those milkshakes. Please tell me you're still doing those.
Man, we are hand-dipping those shakes, putting them in the old glass in the shake tin, served the old-fashioned way.
You got any new items out there I need to know about?
We're just doing a lot of gourmet sandwiches. We've got farm-raised catfish straight out of the Delta. We've got some hot tamales from Pasquale's Tamales out of Helena, Arkansas.
Man, are they served in the husk?
What those guys like to say, they're so good, you'll suck the shuck.
Go see my buddy Mark at Dyer's Cafe in Collierville's historic town square.
Well, today is the day. It is Black Friday. That means it's time to get that holiday shopping started. And the first place you need to go, that would be Genesis Diamonds. Right now, starting today, going all weekend long, it's Genesis Diamonds' unbelievable lab-grown Black Friday sale. This weekend, they're offering deals you can't even possibly imagine. How about a 3-carat lab-grown diamond for just $599? How about a 2-carat lab grown for only $299? These are the types of deals I'm talking about, but it's limited to just the first 150 customers. That's right, just the first 150 customers with the purchase of one of Genesis' exclusive settings. Imagine proposing to the love of your life with a stunning 3-carat certified lab-grown diamond, any shape, showcased in a one-of-a-kind setting. That's what you can do this weekend. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, starting today at Genesis Diamonds.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Acura of Memphis.
Get them to sign on the line which is dotted.
Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Gonna put the world away for a minute. Pretend I don't live in it. Sunshine gonna wash my blues away. Had sweet love, but I lost it. She got too close, so I fought it. Now I'm lost in the world.
We're back in to Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli. No Greg, no Eli today. Bryant Dacus, Zach Boyd with you for the last couple of minutes today. As we wrap up today's show, we've talked a lot about the Tigers, a big day for them. We just got done talking to Greg Gaston about this football game today, about an hour away from kickoff between the Tigers and Temple as Memphis looks to end their regular season with a win over Temple. And, you know, this is a game that's gotten the Tigers in the past. I remember a couple years ago when Joey Magnifico and the catch or not a catch, and I think still a lot of people kind of go back to that game and if it was a catch or not, but that led to a loss in Philly. So what happens today? I think that line about 13.5, 14 points. So it's a big line. A lot of people think Memphis will win big, but Zach, if I know one thing about this Tiger team is they've played in a lot of close games this year. It has not been a lot of lopsided victories.
Yeah. And you're just hoping that they don't fall into that trap again.
Yeah.
Just let's close out the regular season right. Get to 9 wins.
And
then get to the
try to get to 10 wins
bowl
with the
game
bowl
wherever they decide to put the Tigers in.
What are you in? Do you want the Tigers to play in the Liberty Bowl? I mean, is that I've heard a lot of fans get excited about maybe the Tigers playing in the Liberty Bowl.
Yeah, I don't have an issue with it. I think each bowl game has a different payout. Am I correct?
No, the Liberty Bowl would be bigger because it's Big 12 versus SEC.
Right. So obviously you really want the biggest payout possible.
But I mean, Greg's point just a minute ago of, playing in your own stadium, getting dressed in your own locker room, probably staying at the same hotels you stay at on, night before the game. Maybe not, because I think they have the Peabody and different hotels for the bowl game, so they'd probably stay there. But it's pretty much largely the same as you would do for a regular season game. So I mean, I think a lot of these guys on the team would prefer to go somewhere else, whether it be the Fenway Bowl would be cool. I didn't think that was still in play, but the Fenway Bowl would be a lot of fun. I mean,
yeah. And that's the thing, too, because it's like either you're staying at home, you save money on travel, you stay at home, you play in the Liberty Bowl, or you take the travel, you either go on to Boston or you're going to D.C. or the Annapolis.
Both very cold this time of year, Zach.
Yes, so it's like, which one would you want to have? Now, granted, Memphis will get colder in December.
That's true. No, I remember.
So we'll see if the weather decides to hold.
Yeah. Oh, I remember last time, what was it, 2018, 2017, whenever Memphis played in the Liberty Bowl against Iowa State. That game was really cold.
They looked cold.
It was a really cold game. I had a big coat on for that game. So, it will be fun. But, I mean, hopefully Tigers can get a win today against Temple and wrap up this regular season. 9 wins, looking for 10 wins in the bowl game. And then this afternoon, Zach, do the Tigers pull the upset? I guess it won't be an upset. They're a favorite. Do they get the win?
They're an underdog.
Who?
Tigers.
Against Villanova?
Yeah.
Are they really?
Yeah. That's what they said.
Are you sure?
The Tigers were an underdog.
Huh. Yeah, they are. Wow. I think someone texted me earlier and I thought they said they were a favorite. Okay, well, can they pull the upset? I guess I was right. Can they pull the upset against Villanova this afternoon?
Why not? I mean, you knocked off Michigan, you knocked off Arkansas. Why not just go ahead and win the whole thing while you at it?
That'd be incredible if they could win the whole thing in the Bahamas, come back undefeated with wins over Michigan, Arkansas, and Villanova. I mean, that'd be a great way to start the season. And then your non-conference schedule really gets going after that. I mean, we still have, Ole Miss, which I know they've kind of, it's been an up and down start to the season for them. You've got Texas A&M. Let's see, when they come back from this, Ole Miss, VCU, Texas A&M, Clemson, Virginia is your next 5 games. I mean, that's difficult.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, this is the whole point of Penny loading up the schedule.
Yeah, what did Penny say after the first exhibition game? Our non-conference schedules it's basically our season.
Basically.
So
that's why he likes to put the pressure on the players to perform.
Yeah, no, it's going to be tough, but it's been really fun to watch them play. But that's all the time we have. Enjoy your weekend. We'll talk to you again on Monday.